revolution begins. I'm expecting a fight, hoping for a war. We are the Bullet Club. I am the greatest living professional wrestler alive. One by one, they will all follow me. Bada boom, realest guys in a room. How you know? Feed me more.
It kind of feels like I'm on this island, right? And there's all this stormy water all around me, you know? So I'm just, I'll sit back, I'll put on my goggles, make sure nothing splashes in my face, sip my coconut, watch TLC next week, and this has brought one thing to mind. One thing more than anything is that I came here for that championship, and I didn't come here to take part. I came here to take over.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
All right, this is Wrestling the Max, episode 173.
Woo! And it is time to get into a lot of things on this 173rd episode. We have a ton to talk about, guys. I'm so excited because not only do we have our normal stuff like WWE RAW, TNA Impact, Ring of Honor, but we are also going to add in another show. We are going to talk about New Japan. That's right. They just did their Tag League final. So we get a chance to add that into the repertoire today. And we're going to have our good friend, and I guess we'd almost call him our New Japan correspondent in a way, Tom. So I'm really looking forward to having him on the show. We have other things like quick hits to jump into, lots of different interesting kind of comical news this week, so you don't want to miss that. Plus, we are going to crown a Superstar of the Week and a Superstar of the Month and a Match of the Month, because guess what? In November, we did not do it, so we wanted to make sure that we got it in here. I know it's a little bit late, but we're still going to do it anyway.
No, technically we're supposed to wait till the November ends. So last week, technically we still had a Raw that was part of November. So
true. Okay. Okay, good. Well, at least we're not too late. So,
and I want to clarify, it's not MySpace Tom. That's the.
Yeah. Now, wouldn't that be awesome if we had MySpace Tom on? I think we'd get a little bit more revenue for the show. If it was
that's what he hoped that he goes by. Hi, I'm MySpace Tom.
Yeah. That's on his business card, of course. Definitely. So. But anyway,
we see that happening. That's
true. I want that card. But, we've run down the show. We've got a lot of cool things, like we said, going on. We're also going to do the TLC preview. We don't want you to miss that. We are going to run through all our predictions and kind of our ideas on what's going to happen at this week's TLC. So, that's going to be a lot of fun. But, I just got to mention a couple things before we get into the show. One thing is, one of my shows that I really, really enjoy, and I've enjoyed it for years, has ended. And that is The League. And sadly, I have not watched the final episode. I recorded it, but I'm putting it off, to be honest with you, because it can't end for me. So I'm probably going to find time to watch it. I just don't want to, because as long as I don't watch it, it never ended, right? So,
delusional Gary.
Yes. I've been called worse. But yeah, so eventually I'll get to that. And just to let everybody know, don't spoil anything, please. So, but, besides that, it's the holiday season. And lots of Christmas shows are coming on. That's why shows like The League are ending. And other shows are going to take their hiatuses, kind of like we saw Walking Dead and, of course, all these other shows. So, that brings me to this. This is a busy time of the year. Paul, you just talked about the fact last week, man, you're just busy every week. Weekends, and it's just been crazy. But man, during this stressful time of the year, Do you ever, look at it and say, man, I've got so much to do? Or do you ever kind of look at it and say, man, this is just a nice time of year? Because right now, I kind of feel like that intro song, it gets kind of stressy. I just feel so stressed out at times because I'm like, I got to get this gift. I'm not really enjoying the cocoa and candy canes.
I mean, it's certainly stressful, especially, like myself and Sean and working retail and all that. And people, much like you, Gary, are trying to de-stress themselves by buying things. So,
Yeah,
I mean, at least the weather has been nice. That's been, I think, the most wintry season-y to me. It's been like upper 50s here in Texas. It's been really nice.
Yeah, it has. And, I actually wore shorts out today. Felt weird in December, but I did. So, but man, Sean, I mean, once again, I mean, you were in retail, like he said, and it's so busy, and you're going to just get busier. But I mean, you've got to be excited because this is the time of the year that your daughter is probably stoked about the holiday. She's probably already pointing things out that she wants. I mean, that's got to be a lot of fun to kind of pick a gift out for her and really get excited about this, don't they?
Yeah, I can't wait. She tells me all the time. She's like, I need to write my letter to Santa, Daddy. I'm like, well, get to writing. I was like, maybe you can get somebody to help you with that so that, Santa will know exactly what it is you want. She knows how to write certain things, but obviously she's 4. She's still learning. But, it's still cute. I want to see the letter. I want to see how much she writes of it and all that stuff. I'm going to probably frame it or something.
Yeah, it is going to be really cool when, you get a chance to see that. And, it's going to be something you definitely have to keep in a scrapbook. My daughter is excited about, Christmas and all because she just loves watching the Christmas, like I'm telling you, the old Christmas movies, like from the 40s, 50s, whatever. It's ridiculous how old the movies she's been watching. But, every time I ask her about Santa Claus, are you excited about Santa Claus coming and giving you toys and candy? Yeah, sure, I am, really. And I say, okay, well, are you excited about him coming inside and, putting it inside the stocking here in the house? No. So I said, what do you want to do? Leave it on the front door? Yeah. So I think she has a little problem with Santa Claus, at least coming in her house.
Hey, so. I mean, if I saw this thing, like I told you last week, I was Santa, and I was surprised that still having. I mean, it was kids even older than Lily and older than Anaya, that they were crying. So even kids that know who Santa is, certainly, they're crying too because it scares them, So I can understand that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be something. I'm kind of trying to talk her into going and sitting on his lap. I'm not sure it's going to happen. We'll find out later. You guys
always take the crying picture and just.
Yeah, oh my god. So anyway, enough Christmas talk. We're going to do that probably until Christmas, but just wanted to kind of give you guys an insight of what's going on with us. We got some quick hits to talk about, and it does include some holiday merchandise sales. And you have to hear this: there's a certain group in WWE that is selling like hotcakes with their merch. But we'll be right back with that.
Well, I find that, there's some kind of mystical thing involved, too, with that. Well, I find the thing I'm supposed to press.
Very good.
So, here we go.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into some of these quick hits, and let's go ahead and start off with that big news topic that I just mentioned. The New Day is selling like hotcakes. That's right. Their merchandise is selling like crazy. Those crazy unicorns that you saw, those, poking out of their head, those things sold within 5 hours. They sold out completely. These guys are obviously just the hottest thing about WWE right now. We've talked about it week in and week out. We always talk about the most entertaining part of Raw is the New Day, but now the merchandise is proving to be that. You've seen them have more time on TV. This is great. I think it's exciting for the New Day, but does this concern you at all, Paul? Because it seems like it's great now, but is this going to be great in 6 months?
Clearly, people want to have magical unicorn powers. That's what I've learned from this news bit right here.
By the fact that I think they've finally started letting him incorporate things from some of the just random skits they do on WWE.com and whatever, where they got to do a little bit of like just some theater and whatever. I think they're actually just more and more every week. It seems like they're just letting them go out there and do whatever, and they either sink or swim with it. So I don't think that it's going to be getting any less popular anytime soon, because also Xavier Woods' Up Down Down merch is selling very well, and that has nothing to do with WWE. So obviously New Day and Xavier Woods himself is getting over in various different ways. And I'll be honest, hey, I never thought I'd see Becky Lynch on one of those videos playing freaking Windjammers of all things. That's pretty cool.
Are you asking Sean for anything for the New Day, or would you ever ask for a New Day piece of merchandise in your stocking?
Apparently, I showed my wife the unicorn shirt, and she was like, "Wow, that's a wrestling thing? Like, that's actually kind of cool, And of course, my daughter, she loves My Little Pony, so like that was like, "Is that for me, Daddy?" I'm like, "No, but if you want one." We'll just not tell Grandma that it has anything to do with wrestling, because she would like blow a gasket.
Yeah. Oh, she's like, "What is that? Little ass kicker? What's that shirt?" Oh, but but Paul, I mean, you got to be honest. Would you get one of the unicorns? Would you ask for it in your stocking?
As somebody who also wishes for magic unicorn powers, I would, Gary.
Just imagining that. You're just like jumping up. Oh, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, that needs to be a thing. Like, we just all need to take reaction videos of getting the New Day merchandise.
I have to say this, and I know we're trying to get through quickly. We got a lot of stuff to cover, but I want to say this. We were all part of DirtSheets.com for a long time. Great guys. Zach Brown and David Martell, both awesome guys. We love those guys to death. They did a great thing at Christmas time. They actually traded these brownback specials TNA used to do, and they actually filmed them opening it. So one year, maybe next year, we'll have to do something like that. Just kind of exchange something and us all have a reaction video. So I think it'd be hilarious. So. But moving on. There's some other interesting news, and Paul, you may have got an interesting Christmas present, or maybe not. But there is a new Chikara champion, and so I've got to know your thoughts on this, because you are a Chikara guy. But Kimberly is now the new world champion of Chikara. I just got to know your thoughts on this.
Chikara has sort of been, I don't want to say at the forefront, but near the front of giving mixed gender wrestling a serious go. It started 2011 with Sarah Del Rey, Sarah Amato, now training NXT Divas and whatnot. They gave her a serious go and crowning their first world champion, but their first grand champion, way back a couple years ago. And had she not got signed, she might have very well made it to the finale, because she was doing very well in that tournament. And the champion that fell apart due to multiple WWE signings, Claudio Castagnoli / Cesaro being one of them. I'm digressing. I think it's a really neat idea. I believe she won her team won the Challenge of the Immortals. That's what the tournament was called. And I'm assuming she cashed in her points that night and won the title. So I'm all for it. If any place could make it believable, it's certainly Chikara.
That is awesome.
That's really cool. I think I don't think any of us would have ever thought that. I mean, I think if it was ever going to be that, I would think like Lucha Underground, or it had to be a promotion like that. I don't know if it's ever going to happen again after the backlash that was given from China. So, but hey, we've all, it's a progressive world now, so who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, and that is, like you said, Sean, progressive, and something that it really could take the forefront of the future. We may see more of this. You never know. I mean, things are changing in our world for sure. So, something else I got to bring up, since we're talking about women wrestlers, we have to bring up this piece of news. And Paul, you probably were on board on some of these, but when we first started this podcast, it seemed like every week there was news from Sonny. Every week. It became a running joke on this podcast for quite a long time. Sean remembers that for sure, I know.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you do. But anyway, so now we have more. We have more. And here you go. Sonny has a new website out there for all you fans who want to pay money to talk to her. And there's a whole pay scale. I don't know if we really want to get into it, Sean.
Well, you're not just talking to her, you're seeing parts of her too. So it's not like,
yeah. There are, but I mean, you can also get merchandise like autographs from her and things like that. So there's a whole pay scale. And Sean, I'll let you break down the pay scale if you want. You don't have to.
It goes from like $50 to like $500. There's even a Snapchat thing where you could be part of her membership on Snapchat for like $100, and she apparently sends you 3 pictures, but if you take pictures of the pictures, or you take pictures of whatever's said in the Snapchat, or the screenshot, or you screenshot any of the Snapchat that's happening. I really don't even know how this app works, honestly. There's way too many freaking apps. Seriously, I don't know how people just download the same app so you can say the same thing in about 20 different social media platforms. It's just like, I'm still trying to get a hold of Twitter, and people over here on Instagram and Snapchat and a million other freaking things. Either way, I'm totally getting off the point. But yeah, she will remove you from the membership or something if you post a picture somewhere and she finds out about it, I guess. Not that, there aren't a zillion of these other pictures that have been posted from, previous Skype things with her. So, I mean, again, that's one of those things, like, you can try to get it taken down, but once it's on the internet, it's on the internet. So,
yeah. So let's be honest. You could spend a ton of money on this side if you really were into that. Paul, I don't know. I don't know if you're asking for this for Christmas, a membership to this, but it's interesting, I guess.
No, it's just really sad and depressing that it's come to this.
Yeah,
I think you really can say.
Yeah, just a fall from grace.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's just sad that she used to be this, like, awesome, like, she was hot. She was, like, a awesome character for WWE back then, and, like, look where it's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, definitely a good story to show people if you want them to stay away from drugs. Let's talk about Triple H. Now, Triple H just had a phone conference with a bunch of media and really kind of talked about NXT and RAW and some of the things that are involved. And he basically admitted that RAW is not good. They know RAW is not good, but they're trying to fix it. They have no real big plans on how to just yet, but they're working on them. And of course, you mentioned a few other things that are really interesting, talking about, NXT was the first hour Raw, which he still says that does no good to help anyone. That's not a great decision, really. And just, really breaks down. But I got to know from you guys, I mean, when this guy, Triple H, one of the head honchos of the WWE, is admitting that Raw's bad, that's concerning. But then again, it's a fresh breath of air to know that these guys know it's not good and they just don't have an ego.
It's very true. I think it just adds on to what we've already known, that they know there's a problem, and they obviously can't outright state it because we keep saying it's Vince, and I'm sure part of that is true. But this and the survey, and they know what's going on. They have to know what's going on. They're the ones that are writing a lot of this and whether it gets changed and all that fun stuff. So, No surprises here.
His official quote is, he was asked about NXT with the first hour of Raw, and he said, "Look, we're doing 3 hours of live TV every week. It's too much at times. I can barely watch a 2-hour movie, let alone have to do a 3-hour TV show. We need to become more creative and more focused on the shows. We've had some injuries, and it's on them to build a better format for the shows. They've heard the frustrations of people, and they feel the same way." So,
wow,
that's straight from Triple H's mouth to say that they apparently feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, it is nice to know that they are acknowledging it, and that they're trying to work on it, but they really honestly are kind of at a loss because they do lack a lot of their big stars right now because of injuries. And really, the only thing I could say about that is build new ones, but they don't seem interested in quite doing that to the extent that we want them to do it. So,
he does have some interesting things in here from the NXT perspective. He says he's asked about the whole NXT being on a TV again, and he's like, "Well, you know what? I like it being on the network because we can kind of do whatever we want. If it's on TV, then there's people that come in and try to tell you what to do. And we're not obviously hurting. We did 15,000 in Brooklyn. We just sold out 10,000 for London next week. So
yeah.
I kind of have to agree. I don't know if I want to see it on TV again because then they have to change it." He says what he's most excited about for this NXT Takeover is because it's the first time we're really going to get to see Asuka have an actual big time match with somebody. So, hey, he's excited about it. We're all excited about it. That's good.
Definitely. Like I said, if you want to go read more, there are places you can go find that. The whole, basically breakdown of the news conference. You may want to go check that out if you're really interested in a lot of what he has to say. But let's talk about Daniel Bryan real quick. Now, he definitely is a big part of WWE because, not only do fans love him, but he's a great talent. His injury has taken a lot away from what WWE used to have. And so now we're looking at a situation where the doctors at WWE, especially the main honcho doctor, will not clear him to wrestle. That is causing problems for Daniel Bryan because he still wants to wrestle. He wants to, be in the business for a little bit longer. And he has stated that, if they for sure do not let him wrestle and they are not going to clear him at all, he is not going to take any of their offers for NXT trainer or any other jobs that they want to throw his way, and that may end his career with WWE, at least at this time. So, saying that, Paul, are you thinking kind of like I am, where I really feel like Daniel Bryan's going to be wrestling in some other promotion, even if it's on the indie circuit, just because he wants to?
If that's what he wants to do and he feels like he can do it, then more power to him. And if WWE's not getting into the platform, then obviously it just makes sense to go somewhere else. And this is as good a time as any, I think, to go test your waters elsewhere. There are a lot of places coming up. New Japan, I'm sure, would always love to take him back, or anywhere over in Japan would love to take him back. So we'll just have to wait and see what WWE does. The ball is clearly in their court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Sean, do you think that he is making the right decision? Because, look, it's a pretty good gig to train young superstars. He can also do, announcing. There's a ton of other things he could do and not leave WWE. And, of course, his wife's tied to WWE, so that could also affect, them not being on the same schedule.
You're right. And he doesn't rule out that he'll never do it. He just means more like he doesn't want to do it now because he feels like that just means I'm done if I do it now. And I can understand what he means. Like, he doesn't want to say all this stuff I've worked for, I got to the top, and I only got to basically have it for a little bit, and then that's it. And he feels like he can do more, and I don't blame him. I think we can all say that he would definitely be a breath of fresh air to the product right now to have him out there, and especially helping when you've got so many injuries right now. So to me, I hate it because he's my favorite and will be my favorite for a long time, and it just sucks not getting to see him, But I feel like Bree will probably talk him down, and he'll eventually not wind up wrestling somewhere else. What if he gets hurt there?
Mm-hmm.
Then what? And will WWE give him another chance if he leaves, gets hurt, and then he comes back and says, well, now I kind of want a job doing something,
Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that the job won't be open. I know they may be a little agitated and seeing him somewhere else, but I still think that it's a big loss not to have a guy like that, at least in the training facility or even on your TV, because people love him. They love him. So I just don't know.
I mean, like, he'd obviously have to be careful about where he goes, because I think, there's a grudge that could be held if, let's say, he goes to a TNA or an ROH again. And I mean, he could be what Kurt Angle, like where everybody said, oh, Kurt Angle's a bad injury away from never wrestling again. What if Bryan figures out a way to wrestle for a while with that same issue, and, he makes another company money, and, who knows? There's a lot of things that can happen here. I didn't want to see him go, but if that was to make him happy, then, who am I or who is anybody to tell him, no, you shouldn't?
Right.
Yeah.
Totally agree. All right, guys. Well, we got a lot of show left to do, so let's jump into some rapid hits and get through these news articles quickly. Here we go.
I think I forgot to tell you. Speaking of career-ending injuries, Sting is going to have. He has some kind of bad spinal stenosis, and he has to have neck surgery, and his career might also be over as well.
Yeah. Oof. That is not cool for, Sting fans, and of course, for hopes to see him in any, big retirement matches for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he could maybe be an agent or something, or you think he'll just kind of be on the Legends deal and be done with it, or?
I mean, I guess it depends more on where he's at, if he still wants to be on the road or not. I mean, working a part-time schedule leads me to say no. So, I mean, I think maybe he takes the Legends deal and rides off into that sunset.
Mm-hmm. I think so, too. And he is a big follower of his son in his football career. And so he's going to be following his son's college to every game. And I think that's going to affect him any time in the WWE. So, but, sad news. Hopefully he, can get things fixed. But let's get into these rapid hits real quick. This Los Angeles house show that's supposed to be big with Mr. Brock Lesnar showing back up and having a match with Alberto Del Rio for the U.S. title is coming up. The problem is it's not selling tickets like they thought, and in fact, it's kind of underwhelming. Thoughts?
Shows what happens when you don't build your show well for a month.
Ta-da! Also, I think people have caught on to these Brock house shows don't mean anything. And that Brock is going to wrestle in a match that also doesn't mean anything. Especially because it's in that old Los Angeles Forum. It's a place that doesn't have wrestling that hardly ever. I think that's really got to be a killer for WWE in that way. Seriously, the way until this Monday's Raw, telling me that Alberto Del Rio is doing anything with anybody is like about as exciting as watching paint dry. So,
Talk about that, Sean. Watching paint dry. Coca-Cola is sponsoring the Slammies and Tribute for the Troops. Hopefully that has enough caffeine to get you excited.
Oh boy, yeah. The Slammies can sort of sometimes be entertaining, but Tribute to the Troops, man. Outside of the actual tributing to the troops part, is you kind of hit it on the head with that segue there.
I think you're kind of glossing over this because I don't think Coca-Cola's ever partnered with WWE before on anything.
Oh no, the Coca-Cola thing is huge.
Yeah.
That's why I posted in the group people keep complaining about PG. Well, here you go. PG WWE just got Coca-Cola sponsorship, and that's because USA is trying to get them huge sponsors because they're about to have 21 hours WWE programming a month on their network now. So
Mother of God.
Wow. You said, big sponsor. We just, I think last week or the week before, talked about K Jewelers being a part of them.
Yeah, that's part of it too.
Yeah. I mean, I just imagine, someone getting engaged and saying, I'm going to give you the same ring that Lana got, You know
what? I can see someone doing that because, there are people that really go hardcore with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Let's jump into some more news, guys. Let's talk about the fact that AJ may not be able to make Final Battle. He's still dealing with injuries. Do you think he's going to make it, Paul?
They haven't said anything to the contrary yet, so I'm going to go with yes.
Sean?
I'm going to go with yes, too. I think if he wasn't going to be there, they would have said something by now.
NXT just sent out their own survey. We talked about the Raw survey last week, but now they got their own. Do you think that this is a situation where they're just trying to gauge on what's NXT successful and what's bad?
Yeah, it's sort of the same idea with Raw. NXT obviously is still very popular. So, you find out what works there. Maybe you can bring some of that to the main show.
I just hope this doesn't affect them negatively. Whereas people say you get a lot of, well, I like everything that's on NXT and I like nothing that's on Raw, and they go, oh, somebody needs to start toning down some NXT, and we start, not seeing that NXT that we know and love. I mean, I don't know that Vince would get that jealous or anything. But yeah, I mean, no, your math is wrong, Glenn. That 21 hours counts for the ridiculous overrun that sometimes goes 15 minutes on Raw. So if you go 15 minutes every 4 shows, what is that, an hour?
Yeah.
So.
It's a long time.
Yeah, think about that. You're not really watching a 3-hour show. You're watching a 3-hour and about 15, 20-minute show. So, yeah. That's crazy. Every week, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. One of the last things we're going to talk about, guys, is the fact that, with everything going on with WWE and all the different things that they're trying to get done, they're also, trying to deal with guys who are legends and who have things going on in their personal lives, like, Val Venis selling weed. And that is in Arizona, and it's legal.
Boy.
It is legal marijuana. So, I mean...
Why not?
Hey, if it's legal, it's okay, right? I mean, do you think the WWE really cares now? If guys like him do that?
I mean, is he going into the Hall of Fame anytime soon? I mean...
He should.
He's not contracted or anything to him anymore, so I don't see why they would care.
Yeah, you just think that, if they ever wanted to bring him back for anything, I don't know. That's just me personally. I think the guy's great. Okay, one last thing we're going to talk about, guys, and this is... It's kind of actually, this is not the last thing. We got one more thing. I'll take this in the last. Raw is the 5th most talked about show on Facebook. Really quick, what do you think about this?
I mean, it's very cool. I think it continues to show that maybe ratings don't need to matter so much anymore.
Okay, here's the deal, guys. If you complain about Raw on Facebook, you're still talking about Raw on Facebook. So guess what? It doesn't matter whether you're negative or positive about Raw. You're still talking about it. So that counts as being talked about. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like and how many... I bet we can take a tally of wrestling groups on Facebook probably outnumber groups of anything else on Facebook, too, which probably helps that number.
Oh, I'm sure. Very true. One last thing we do need to talk about is Honma. Now, the reason we're talking about him briefly is because, last week we kind of got him a little hard for the domestic violence stuff, and there was more information that is out there, and we wanted to make sure we kind of get both sides of this coin. Now, it is coming out that he released a statement saying that, he did not cause the violence. In fact, it was self-defense. And he had some more things to say. But Sean, I mean, hopefully to you this makes you feel a little bit better. I know you're a big fan
It
of
does,
this guy.
but this is also the verbiage that a lot of people that actually hit the women say. So, sadly, it is. And he's not saying he didn't do it. He's saying it's self-defense. And in my view, I don't care unless she is actually physically threatening you with death, which I guess could be possible. We don't know. We're not there. You don't hit her.
Mm-hmm.
You do something else to get out of the situation. But again, we don't know how crazy this woman got because she got jealous about, her liking somebody. And apparently this whole thing was a work done by New Japan. Like this whole thing about him having a girlfriend and whatever, some girl liking him or whatever. And I don't know if she understood that. But again, I don't want to say one way or the other. I think I did go too hard on him last week, and this is my bad because I usually look up stuff like this. Especially because we don't do a lot of New Japan outside of actually covering the shows. And I just, I don't want to say that he's totally in the wrong, and I don't want to say that he's totally right either. Because they both did wrong in these, there's marital spats, and then there's taking it to the super extreme like they did,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, I know Sean will be working on Tom on the line here because we're about to talk about New Japan. But Paul, is there anything else you wanted to say before, about that?
It's a dicey situation. It's even more dicey because now we're talking about, as we said last week, it's another culture. So things may or may not be taken differently. Who knows? Either way, even if it's an allegation that's only one-way violence or both people are hitting each other, it still doesn't need to be a thing. So, still terrible no matter what we're talking about.
Totally
and to be fair, it seems like his workplace has chosen to wait and see. They did not take the NFL stance and we're going to suspend you first and ask questions later. Which I think sometimes is the best, depending on the situation, obviously, better way to go.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about what happened with him here, but I also just, this is, it sucks because I hope it doesn't cloud what's going to be their biggest show of the year coming up too, So.
Definitely. We don't want to see anything like that happen for sure. And hopefully it all gets resolved and figured out pretty soon here. But while we're about to get into some New Japan, but while we're waiting for Tom to get on the line here, I just want to let everybody know we are doing the TLC preview tonight, and that is going to be following Raw. We'll be doing Raw right after we do the Tag League segment. But I just want you to also to know that if you want to send in any of your own predictions, we may even read them after we do our predictions. So just send a list. You can always hit us up on our Facebook page, Wrestling to the Max on Facebook, and also you can send it on Spreaker.com. That's right. That's where you're listening to us live right now if you are listening live. So there's that chat bubble. Hit that, put them in there, and of course we'll have them right there. And Sean, I'm sure, will get to those when they are put up. And of course, just let you guys know also, during the week, anytime you want to hit us up, there's also different ways you can do that. You can email us at wrestlingtothemax@gmail.com. And of course, you can always, make sure you leave those messages on Facebook. We always check them out. We go through everything, and, we'd love to hear your opinions.
The voicemail on Skype.
Yeah.
You can dial that 972-591-8620, and you can leave a voicemail. And if you leave a voicemail, we'll play it on the next week's show and answer your question. So
yeah, there you go. So, okay. Well, Sean, are we good for Tom pretty soon here, or do we need to go ahead?
This little thing that I got to figure out sooner or later how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at doing this, and if it doesn't work, I'll bring Tom on. I'm just waiting for him to call, but I had a little intro thing I was going to do aside from that little thing that we normally play for New Japan. But I don't have it like where it's immediately formatted to that. So
Oh,
let's see
okay.
if I can mess with it and actually have it hit the number that I needed to hit. Well, all right. Let's see how it goes here. New Japan World Tag League Finals coming up right now.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
All right, sorry. Apparently that thing does not have a way to like fast forward at all, so my bad.
It's okay. Once again, people, we are working with a new system here. Spreaker has an app out now, and Sean is using that. It gives us way better quality audio. That's why we're working with it. But, like everything else, it's a learning curve, and we're trying to get through that process, and Sean's doing a great job. It's just, like anything, you have to work through the kinks. But, Paul, we're about to go to this New Japan Tag League. I guess Tom will be getting on here pretty soon. But give us your thoughts overall so far, what you saw. We'll break down the matches here. And actually, Tom is getting on the line pretty soon here. So, but kind of give me your breakdown, kind of what you thought about this show overall, Paul.
I think it's your sort of typical big event New Japan show. There's a solid undercard, which we'll totally talk about, but the main events absolutely deliver in every way that you could think they would. There's only one small letdown, and it comes from somebody you wouldn't really think it would come from, but it also might be understandable depending on, because of everybody else in the match. So,
yeah. Well, we'll definitely get to it. Tom, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the show, man. We're so glad to have you.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into this. Paul, lead us down this journey of the Tag League.
Absolutely. This show opens with Yohei Komatsu and Sho Tanaka taking on Juice Robinson, David Finlay, your typical young lion tag opener that has been common this last year. Komatsu and Tanaka come out with the win. I think it was fine. Nothing super special, but it's still good.
Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, like you said, it was just your basic Young Lions opener. Nothing really special, nothing bad either. You always say typical, but it's good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we should probably come with like a disclaimer for New Japan stuff where typical equals good still,
For all the people listening right now that don't know.
Yeah.
Juice Robinson actually finally didn't look like he was in total WWE mode for once.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And don't you love? I know this is a normal thing for New Japan. I just love that these first matches of every show are just like, it was there.
No, sometimes they do give you nice little gems, but yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, there's that 8-man tag a couple months ago where the Young Lions just came out before the bell even rang and started beating up the vets, which turned out to be an amazing match too. But so we'll move on from that. We'll go to the next match: Masquerade Dorada taking on Jay White, who I think is probably the best out of all the Young Lions they got right now, and really puts on a pretty awesome match here with Masquerade Dorada.
I completely agree. I really enjoyed this. The crowd was cheering for Jay. They love these Young Lions, and he was like Paul said. I think he really understands how to do this, and Dorada works well with him too because he can do that freaking Hurricane Rana off the railing, ridiculous. I love the stuff at the end too with Bushi coming out and trying to get him to join the Ingo and Nobles, and he's like, nope, I'm having none of that. Then all right, you're down. There you go.
For sure. Dorada is one of those guys I just enjoy watching overall. It just seems like any match he's in, it's just a lot of fun to watch him. But, Tom, I mean, I'm sure you have your kind of your thoughts about this.
I was just excited to see Dorada in a singles match.
Mm-hmm.
He's one or two singles matches all year, so I was pumped for this one. That spot he did where he just did the sprint from, I guess, the entrance way over the guardrail into the hook and Rana, that was awesome. And I said it before, Jay White, he's going to be a big star. Just a matter of when.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool because you got an angle at the end with Bushi and everything, so it sets up a match with those. So we get another singles match. That's cool.
Yeah, I'd go off your others, like the single match thing with Dorada here. I can't remember another singles match he's had since the junior heavyweight title challenge that he had back in the summer, which is not a very sad thing. Well, in the tournament, obviously, but we won't count those. How about that?
How do you like Bushi doing the mist thing?
It's okay. I mean, I'm not a giant Bushi fan, and New Japan is just like, they've been harping on how good this guy is, and he just keeps getting hurt at the wrong time, which I'm sure hasn't helped endear him to anybody in the last few years. But I'm not a giant Bushi fan, so it is what it is. What about you, Tom?
It's just, I don't know, I haven't gotten into him yet, because like you said, he's always hurt. He comes back and then boom, he's out again. And so, I don't know. Probably a good spot for him just to be the lackey.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I mean, if anybody can pull a good match out of him, too, it's going to be Dorada. So we'll see what happens when we get to that point. So the third match, Tiger Mask 4 and Taguchi of the Ryusuke variety, the Funky Weapon, the butt guy, as we like to refer to him. Take on Jushin Thunder Liger and Kushida. As probably about as entertaining as you would expect, with a couple old hands, Kushida and Taguchi in there. And Tiger Mask ends up getting the pin with the crucifix to get his team the victory. More Tiger Mask and Liger tension over the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title once again, just like we were last year, which seems to be a recurring theme around a lot of feuds going on right now, but we'll overlook that.
Hey, this was good. It's decent. I mean, it's so funny how they can make Tiger Mask and Liger just be friends for half the year or 3/4 of the year, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's that NWA Junior title. Oh my God, we gotta hate each other all of a sudden. It makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
Definition of an instant feud.
Yeah, it's like if one of those two guys had the final or had the title. Oh my gosh, we got a feud. I mean, not that it's bad or anything. Just hey, it's two, legends going at it. I guess why not have one of those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Tom?
I thought the match was good. Just basically a backdrop for Liger and Tiger Mask. Like the old couple that just gotta fight every now and then.
Love that.
The honeymooners of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Liger.
One day, Tiger Mask. One day.
Right? Oh man.
Sorry, I'm envisioning one of them in the old rocking chair and just like.
I love it.
Next up, we have Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, Yujiro Takahashi, Tama Tonga, the Bullet Club, taking on Hiroshi Tenzin, Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nagata, Manabu Nakanashi. Usual 8-man mid-card tag stuff. We have Nakanishi eating a lot of stuff from the Gallows and Anderson to get the Bullet Club the victory here. Still, your typical stuff, but still good.
I'd agree. I mean, it's, we have somebody asking if Tiger Mask and Liger is the the New Japan version of Hogan versus Sting.
I wouldn't put it on that high a level. I mean, you certainly could. I mean, if it was somebody other, like if this was, I don't know, another giant junior heavyweight star, because Tiger Mask 4 has just like, I wouldn't say he's a holdover, but he's a guy who has flourished in a very long struggling division that has had issues keeping relevance, in my opinion. And he's sort of a guy who's dominated the last 5-8 years, just, despite it being a slow period. So, and we're just starting to come out of that with Kushida and then maybe these young lions being the light at the end of the tunnel.
We hope, anyway.
Yes.
Would you equate it more to like, I don't know, Kenny Dykstra versus Triple H or something?
I wouldn't put it that low either, but
I had to throw it out there. I had to throw it out there. I'm sorry.
I mean, with the young lions, they're gonna be waiting a while because they all got to go on their excursions and stuff too. So, we already saw it. It's almost 2 years with Watanabe. So, I mean, as long as they can start really, hopefully with Ibushi, if he gets back healthy and everything, they start cycling through and freshening it up, I guess.
I'm sorry, Tom. We got a little off track on that, but but what was your thought on that last match that Paul had talked about?
I thought it was better than I expected. Because anything with Gallows in, I don't have high expectations, but I thought it was pretty good. Just there, I guess. Nothing, nothing special.
Right. That's the way I felt too.
That's kind of the theme until basically you get to the two main events, really, when you get to these tags.
Right. I mean, in Nakanishi, obviously, still can't move. Gallows has his limitations. Yujiro is not the most entertaining guy. Tama Tonga will always find a way to shine for me, though. That man could leap out of any building he's in easily.
Yeah.
Carl Anderson, of course, is a terrific person, too. And then Kojima. Obviously, we don't need to speak anymore about how awesome he is either. But we're going to move on from that because it's not all that entertaining. We're going to talk about something that is entertaining. That's Jay Lethal saying that he wants to defend the ROH World title at Wrestle Kingdom. And I hear there's a guy who's super over in Japan who won that Survival of the Fittest tournament by the name of Michael Elgin who could totally fill that role. So, intrigue. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. I'm excited about this personally. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
What do you think about this, Tom? And Tom, you'll have to tell me, is this, I'm sorry of my ignorance, but is this the first time any other title like the ROH title? I think they've had other titles, but Ring of Honor, this is the first time for sure their title's been defended at a New Japan show.
I'm wondering if Elgin may not wrestle at least on Friday night in Philadelphia because if Styles is not ready to go, what else do they go with?
That
could you have Elgin go in a champion?
I guess they could throw Roderick Strong out there again.
Roderick's defending the TV title against not Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. So they would probably have to scramble the card around some if they decide that AJ's a no-go. So I mean, you could just, because New Japan obviously they took AJ out of the World Tag League to rest him. I'm assuming that ROH had a hand in that as well, obviously needing him for Final Battle. So if you just have him work the limited schedule where you have him work Lethal here at Final Battle and then he gets some more time off before Wrestle Kingdom, I'm sure he'll be fine. Like we never really got any specifics on how terrible the back injury was. So
right.
I think the most interesting thing about this for me is how well I think Japan's going to take to somebody like a Jay Lethal, who hasn't really done a whole lot over in Japan. And they're probably counting on Elgin to carry it. And with Elgin being that guy that they're going to be familiar with, are we leaning more towards a title change happening here? Because I could certainly see things going that way.
Well, yeah, because then they're going right back there in February, so have Elgin as champion. Elgin's over with that crowd, too, so they love him there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
who else tags with Tanahashi and wins so many matches?
Right. It's a fair point, Sean. So we'll move on from there. Matt Taven, Michael Bennett, The Kingdom taking on The Addiction, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian. If you've seen any ROH show, you've seen this match before. That about covers everything we got here.
Yeah, I mean, not to just totally put it down or whatever, but Paul pretty much hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Anything, Tom?
I think, yeah, well, you said it right. It's, if you've seen it in ROH, you've seen it, and I got a feeling that they're going to air that on ROH TV because they came out with the tag belts.
Mm.
So I think that's kind of why they did a ROH type of match, I guess.
Makes sense to me. The Kingdom do get the win here with the Hail Mary. Like you said, usual ROH stuff, so there's not a lot here to talk about. This match coming up here I thought was a bit disappointing. Shinsuke Nakamura teams up with Toru Yano to take on Bad Luck Fale and Cody Hall. Admittedly, not the best people to be in the ring with for like a classic match or anything, but still sort of disappointing that Nakamura still couldn't pull something incredible out of his hat here.
Yeah, may have just been having a rough day at the office, but I'm kind of surprised as well. He's just a guy that excites everybody, just him showing up. So, very big letdown.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the only one that liked this match. Wow. I'm the only one that liked this match, I guess.
I mean, I thought it was good. It's just, it wasn't anything like... I mean, we also shouldn't be expecting Nakamura and Yano to come out here and just... It's Yano. It's a Yano match. I mean...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was built for him, for him to do his little tape spot at the end and then win with a low blow and then get beat up, but...
I guess maybe I'm just tired of endless mid-card Bullet Club stuff. Maybe it's finally getting to me. I don't know. I was just hoping that he would pull something out of this to make you really go, man, that was totally worth my, 12 minutes.
Right.
Sadly, I don't feel like we really got that, though.
Yeah, but you know me and Fale, that's probably why I didn't like this.
That's fair.
Hey, Fale can have good matches with people. It's got to be the right person.
Yeah. As I said, Takahashi comes out at the end. They beat up Yano Nakamura. We have a 6-man setup now where Toru Yano gets to pick 2 partners to team up to take on pretty much the mid-card contingent of the Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, and Yujiro Takahashi. So, fun stuff to be had there at Wrestle Kingdom. Let's move on to something much more entertaining, which is the 8-man tag co-main event. Tanahashi teams up with Hiroki Goto, Katsuyori Shibata, and Michael Elgin to take on Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, Kazushi Sakuraba, and Yoshihashi. This is insanely good. Elgin getting the big spots here was surprising, and even more surprising with how much the crowd was into him, I think. Even though we've seen it over the Tag League and his run in the G1. And then everything else is just like spot on. Really, really great stuff. Great build in between everybody who's got something going on towards Wrestle Kingdom. And I could have gone with this match for another 5 minutes if they wanted to.
Yeah, this is exactly. I mean, the best part of it for me is exactly the whole building to Wrestle Kingdom. You have these 2 matches that are happening now. It feels like we wanted Shibata to do something sort of worthwhile forever, and he's finally getting to do it now. And this thing with Ishii is going to be awesome. And they showed it here. You get a nice tease of both of those, and the crowd really went kind of nuts when you get the Okada and Tanahashi thing. So it was all great stuff here.
Yeah, I think so as well, and it's really cool, to see how hyped the fans get about this kind of stuff, and it's a great build to, like you said, Sean, Wrestle Kingdom. Tom, what do you think?
This match was awesome, I thought. The spot, where Okada does, he stands up, puts his arms out, and the camera pulls back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, remember when he did that? Tanahashi just popped right up and just slapped him in the face. It was great. And when Tanahashi's like, the way he does that spot where he slaps guys in the face now, it's freaking awesome. But they've done a masterful job. I can't wait for that match, even though we've seen it 7-8 times already. You know it's going to be great, and you know they're going to make it totally different from the others, and it's just going to be great. I can't wait.
I mean, that's what makes this great. You know, like you said, it's just we have seen this a bunch of times, even though technically we've seen this over years, not like over weeks, like we see it on other promotions. But it's still something that, yes, we have seen many times, and they understand that, and they go, okay, well, we got to make this different than the other times. And they have done a masterful job of making it feel like, oh, this feels like this one really means something to both guys, and I can feel it a lot more than, you know, the other ones, and that's a testament to New Japan and their booking here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like you said, such a great job spilling over from last year, where it feels like, you know, last year they teased the changing of the guard, and this year it could really happen with a new ace sort of stepping forward too. So, and I didn't mean to cut you off there, Tom. What were you gonna say?
And how great Ishii and Shibata are going to be in the Tokyo Dome. I mean, oh my God.
Oh.
Might be their first singles match since G1 a couple years ago. I don't remember them wrestling ever since then. No singles anyway.
No, I don't either.
I talk a lot about guys getting murdered in the ring. Legitimately, this could happen here. Like, these guys just hit each other so hard, somebody might lose their life. And somebody will be a champion, and that's fun to think about, right?
Finish him.
When I watch these guys, I always think to William Regal would, I forget when he said it, but he'd go, I would hit you very hard in very safe places. And granted, these guys hit each other very hard, but I don't know how safe it is.
Yeah. No, it's not at all.
Couldn't have put it any better myself, Tom. It's main event time. The 2015 World Tag League Championship is on the line. Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Honma, the Great Bash heels, taking on Tetsuya Naito and Evil of Los Ingobernables. And I'm sure I just messed that up saying it. Anyways, Makabe and Honma go over in a total shock to me as I was watching this. The ending to this whole thing really sends it home well. Honma crying, finally reaching that that next level of his career, sort of sent this home to, like, even amidst all the other stuff. It's like, man, he's finally getting there, and they get the tag title match at Wrestle Kingdom now against Fale, Gallows and Anderson.
Thank God it's not Fale. Oh man, this is if you love Honma, this is a moment right here. You know, just this is what we wanted to see with him, right? Like, and this is real emotion because he's had to go through this for so many years of not winning, and then he finally gets his big G1 win, and then he gets to go against Ishii again and takes him to the limit and all that, and it was awesome. And then we get this, and he finally gets an honor, and you see it, and the match was part of that too. And I just and the whole like tag league really built up to it too, because it was like Honma losing at first, the way Honma always does, and Makabe will come and like they won the next 3 or something like that, and then Honma would get some wins. And that's like the greatest doomsday device I think I've ever seen. Like, Honma just says to go catch you on the top, and Makabe's just like, okay, you're going to go over me and to the floor. Like, just, that's great. But, yeah, I mean, just for that moment alone, it makes the whole main event there.
The moment's great, and it is special, like you guys said, but, I'm a Naoto fan, so it wasn't as sweet as a moment for me. I was hoping Naito was the guy, but it happens. Tom, were you excited about this one?
Yeah, I was shocked at the outcome, but the match, it's a shame it's so late in the year that, everybody already has their idea of what the best matches were, but this match was right up there. I mean, for pure drama. Because, you've seen the Honma thing so many times. He gets beat down, he comes back, and he loses in the end. And you figured that was going to happen because Makabe was out with the mist in the eyes and whatnot. And you figure Honma would fight, but then finally lose in the end. But then they both came back, and the spot where Bushi came back in with a red mist, and Makabe just nailed him so hard that mist went straight up in the air. That was awesome. But what a week for Honma.
Yeah.
Highs and lows for you.
Yeah.
What do you? I mean, we haven't had what do you think about all the, other stuff that's going on with him, Tom?
As a fan, you hope it's not real. Not real. You hope the girl's lying. And the fact that apparently she has credibility issues and it's not really being taken seriously over there. And he's going to take her to court now, supposedly. Which, if he's going to do that, he has to be right. Otherwise, he's really going to look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I got to believe if he kicked her in the head hard enough, she wouldn't be around right now.
We really shouldn't be laughing about that, but it's true.
But it is kind of a situation where it kind of casts a shadow on a guy that has worked really hard, and hopefully it's something that he didn't cause. But we can't judge; we don't know. But it is what it is. But, Tom, we talked about the tag league and everything else, but is there any other thing in New Japan right now that you're excited about? I know, we're building the Wrestle Kingdom. Anything else kind of on your mind?
The full Wrestle Kingdom card came out. Are you?
Yeah.
What do you think about the show? Better than on paper? Better than last year?
It might be along the same, but I think it might actually deliver better than last year, believe it or not. If Styles is good to go and Nakamura can deliver that semi-main. Because you think about the last three matches, Shibata, Ishii, Styles, Nakamura, and Okada and Tanahashi. Wow.
Yeah. Goto and Naito, too, should be absolutely amazing as well.
Yeah, and there's actually something to the Naito match this year, so.
Mm-hmm.
2 Cork and Hall shows coming up next weekend, I think. Those lineups aren't too bad for, the year-end shows.
Yeah.
You got Gerada and another singles match. You have, I don't have it off the top of my head, but, those shows, the year-end shows at Cork, are usually pretty good. They might actually be worth watching.
Well, it's all build up for Wrestle Kingdom, so if they can get that down, then it'll just make us all more pumped up for it. And I'm happy that we don't have English on TV this year because they don't have to limit. Wrestle Kingdom is the one show. If they want to go 5 hours, I don't care. As long as everything gets time and they do it the way they think it needs to be done.
I already told everybody I'm not coming into work that day.
That's good. So, guys, I think that pretty much rounds out our New Japan.
Tom, what do you think about TLC on Sunday?
Think about what?
About TLC.
Oh, boy. I try to get into it. I really do. But I got home Monday night, and I set up RAW and DVR from work on my app. But I decided to take the show afterward just in case RAW went late like it always does. So when I got home, I watched that first. And I turned it on, and there's stupid-looking guy standing outside and Reigns on the inside. And that show after RAW starts at what, 11:07?
Or it's supposed
Something
to.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it went on forever before they even got to the brawling part. And I was like, I just can't take Sheamus. I don't know. You know what? I'll go as far as to say I'd rather watch Doc Gallows than Sheamus.
Oh, God. Woo!
I can't take the guy. I'm more excited for the NXT Takeover show than I am for TLC, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that show's going to be
I
good.
guess I'm like that. TLC, I don't know. I'll watch it. Maybe it'll surprise me, but.
Yeah, it's kind of the feeling, we usually get about that time when the NXT special is close to the TLC or, any other W pay-per-view. You just, you're hoping it's a good pay-per-view, but you're usually going to see an NXT show that blows it out of the water. So,
I mean, it does have, it does have a few good things. I just have this feeling that WWE is going to be on Thursday morning reading a bunch of stuff about, oh my God, this blew TLC totally out of the water. And then some, people are going to be really angry. And
Yeah, but you know what? This is what I always said this for years. Good booking can make mediocre talent seem great. Crappy booking can destroy great talent. It's all in the presentation. And NXT is presented really well. Raw was presented, as Heenan would say, horse manure.
You wouldn't be totally wrong on that.
Yeah. Sean, Paul, you guys have anything else you want to ask Tom or anything else you have?
I think I'm good for now.
Good, Tom?
All right, man.
All right, guys.
Well,
Go ahead, Sean.
Well, hopefully, we'll probably be doing Wrestle Kingdom, I think. It's on Monday this year, so we'll be doing it on Monday night instead of Raw. So, if you're available that Monday night, man, you're welcome to do the review with us, of course.
Sure.
Awesome. That'd be great. So, be looking forward to that, everyone. Hopefully Tom can get on there with us, and it'll be a lot of fun for us all to kind of just really break down Wrestle Kingdom. It's going to be a great show. We'll keep everybody posted on what's going to happen, and we'll definitely, Tom, we'll definitely keep you posted and make sure we get this thing done. So, thank you, man. We really appreciate your time and you being patient with us, and man, we can't wait to talk to you again.
And go Cowboys.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys have a good holiday, good Christmas, and we'll do the Tokyo Dome.
Yes,
sir.
Right. Later, Tom.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Later.
All right, guys, that was great. I love having Tom on. He is an awesome guy. And not only that, he's our New Japan correspondent. Just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to New Japan. Been a fan since the 80s. That's really crazy awesome. But we want to make sure we thank all the people who stuck around with us and kind of dealt with us talking about some New Japan before we did Raw. That, it's out of order, but that's okay. We wanted to make sure that Tom got on here. We didn't want him delayed too long. We do the show late at night anyway. We didn't want to keep him up too late. So thank you to all who were patient with us. But now we will get Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about that. And don't forget, right after we do Raw, we are talking TLC. So we'll be getting our predictions out there for you guys. But for now, it's time for Raw.
WWE Monday Night Raw.
All right, so Raw was live from, where was Raw live from this week? I forgot.
A place where they talk a lot.
Was it Carolina, right?
It was. Oh yeah, it was Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah,
that was it. Okay, so they're in Flair Country again, as for some reason they seem to be in Flair Country a lot.
I got Pittsburgh here written in front of me, but that
was last week. That's my fault. I didn't change it.
Right on.
The notes that are there are from this week, however, and we already have Chris Lemsky calling. He actually called during the New Japan thing, but I told him to call in a little bit.
What's up, Chris?
Hey guys, not too much. You?
Man, we're just about to talk about some Raw.
Nice. I was actually calling because I have a little funny story to tell you.
Okay.
All right. So next week I'm going to Los Angeles to just visit and watch Star Wars. So it just so happens that weekend, the WWE is going to be running that house show in Los Angeles with Brock Lesnar appearing. Now, you'd think that I would want to go watch that or just go buy a ticket. And it's so sad that I have zero interest, and I can afford it too, but I just don't want to go because that's how much the product disinterests me.
Man.
Wow. So you are also one of the people we were talking about in Quick Hits.
Like, I was thinking about that. Like, I will travel. I've traveled for a lot less, and I have a chance to just go to that house show. I just don't want to do it because I just don't care.
So you're telling me you do not want to see Alberto Del Rio versus Brock Lesnar for the U.S. Championship?
Well, I am intrigued at how that match could go because I can't imagine they'll let Del Rio get like squashed by him, or I can't imagine Del Rio would agree to that. And since it's a non-televised event, I don't see them letting Brock have a competitive match. So I'm intrigued, but not nearly enough to buy a ticket for it.
I mean, just think about it. You could get a front row seat because I'm sure they're not sold out. And hey, when Del Rio gets near you, you can swing at him a few times, just like everybody else does apparently. So, I agree. That's tough, man. For you not to be that uninterested, that's wild. Oh man. Well, it's going to be a cool time for you. You have some other cool things to do, so I mean, I don't blame you. I would definitely be more interested in the Star Wars stuff in LA compared to well, let's be honest, what's going on in the WB. So
nothing really. I mean, I might change my mind. I might end up going if like someone outside is like handing me a ticket, like please come inside. Like, oh yeah, sure, why not? But
I hope it's Eric Bischoff. Hey, I used to do this. That's why they hired me to do this. Here's a free ticket.
I hope it's Dolph. That's how bad it's gotten for Dolph.
Hey man, I'll give you a free comedy show ticket if you take this ticket.
Maybe they need to go get some NXT talent to put on there, and it'll start selling.
Very true.
Yeah. Definitely. Man. Well, I just got to know, Chris, is there anything in this week, Raw or anything else in the news, anything you wanted to kind of throw out there?
Oh, God. This week, Raw, I won't say for the whole review of Raw because it was just so bad. Reigns' promo was just, I don't know who, when he looks at the script, he needs to be smart enough to be like, I'm not going to say this. He needs to start saying no. Because there was a moment, and I think the camera just caught Reigns. When Sheamus came out, Reigns had that expression, oh, thank God.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I'm really feeling bad for Reigns because it's not his fault. Vince is screwing him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is the guy that you want to be the top of your company, and look, you know what? WWE crowds will chant anything, so I'm not surprised at all that they chanted tater tot. But honestly, man, like, when you guys are having an argument about potatoes and tater tots, and half of the promo is Reigns telling him to come in here, and I was expecting the Mortal Kombat guy to show up and be like, whoop-dee, and all this, just, like, that's all that was left. Like, I mean, next time you're going to come in with Scorpion and have the thing and pull him in there? I mean, it's just, that's what they need to do next time. It's dumb. Like, I get, okay, Sheamus is being sort of smart. Like, I'm just not going to show up in here and get clobbered. I get it. But it's just, it went on, like Tom said, this felt like it went on for eternity. And I'm just like, can you guys not get to the point? Just have him put it to the table already and shut up. Like, why? Did you guys not talk enough at the beginning?
You know, Sean, it's like, imagine if Goldberg in WCW started telling Hulk Hogan that he was a tater tot or a French fry.
Oh, jeez.
It wouldn't work.
Hey, Chris, do you remember the whole reason I was one of the biggest WCW supporters? In fact, they still hold a special place in my heart. I'm sorry. But you know why I quit watching WCW? You know what the breaking point was? Have you ever heard that story?
What's the breaking point?
The breaking point wasn't the NWO growing to 500 members. It wasn't just the same old matches. It wasn't anything like that. It was Bam Bam Bigelow getting on there and calling someone a turkey. He called someone a turkey. As soon as I heard that, nope, I flipped the channel to Raw. I was done. And so that's the same way I feel about this tater tot business in a way. Not done with Raw, but I get the tater tots for the children. I just imagining a Sonic girl rolling around the ring. Hey, you know. So it's just ridiculous.
The thing with the tater tot thing, I think people online be like, oh, if The Rock is saying that everyone will be eating, we like laughing. It's like, yeah, because The Rock has charisma. Mm-hmm. He has enough charisma to make that line work. He could make Suffer and Succotash work, and we'd all be like laughing, saying, "Oh, that was fantastic."
He made popcorn fart work. I mean,
yeah, he made Cookie Puss work, for God's sake.
That's right.
Yeah. Of course, well, that has like some, you know, that has sexual connotations, so that kind of sort of, you know.
That's his MO. That's his MO.
Yeah. That's,
hey, we want some. Oh, go ahead.
No.
The thing about Reigns, the most damning thing about Reigns is it's like no one can get a sense of his character, right? He got screwed at Survivor Series only having a 5-minute reign. You would think he would come out balls ablazing, not cutting any freaking jokes, and just wanting to kick Sheamus' arse. But no, he just comes out all smiling, yeah, whatever. It's like, I don't like bringing up Bryan, but he's the perfect example. The minute, I mean, even though they didn't plan for that whole story to work out like it did, but the minute Bryan got screwed until he finally won the belt at Mania, he never cut a joking, silly Daniel Bryan promo. His promos are very serious, direct, and passionate. I want that from Reigns. And when he starts delivering that, that's when fans will start coming around him. Not him crying at Survivor Series and the next day comes out all smiles and like, yeah, that's okay, guys. Well, I'll get him next time.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. I seriously am right there with you because I just think that they are missing the boat. I think Reigns could be that perfect heel. I think he could. I mean, people already hate him. Let's be honest. He could make him hate him even more. Take that. Get that going and do the Rock thing. Hey, take a page out of the Rock. Make him really hate you, then really love you. That's the formula I'm looking at. I don't know about you guys, Paul. I mean, you guys have a different opinion about that? I mean,
we've gotten brief snippets of Roman being the silent, tough. Well, not silent, but the tough and rough and tumble badass that he was in the Shield. I don't know why they don't continue to go that way. People love to cheer an ass kicker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They don't want to cheer a guy that makes
jokes.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to cheer a guy that makes Looney Tunes jokes that are about as old as our grandparents. I mean, it's just it doesn't work like that. Like, who are you? I mean, I get that children are still your main audience, but you're not even appealing to them either. They're not thinking that's cool. Mm-hmm. Isn't the whole point of your show to make it seem like Roman Reigns is the coolest thing on earth? And the farthest thing from cool is him saying, "Hey, tater tot, get in the freaking ring, dude!" Like, oh, come on.
I know 5-year-olds have better insults than that.
Yeah, well, some 5-year-olds now, they say some of the crudest things ever. But,
trust me, Sean works at the Kmart. He knows.
Oh, man. Oh, I could tell you some stories. I could also tell you some stories of, like, parents just deciding to just completely whoop their kids right there, and they do not care. They'll take a sandal out and just go, all right, we're going to have a beating right here at Kmart. It's terrible. Anyway,
beating.
Yeah.
I got to know, Chris, and I'm sorry, you have something
Raw
else?
is a beating. That's what's
yeah, it is, but I want to ask Chris this. I mean, the League of Nations, this to me is the lamest faction I've seen in a long time. For me personally, I there's nothing to it. It's got zero interest for me.
Oh no, I agree. They're definitely probably one of the worst factions ever, and that's because no one can ever take them seriously. They've all been booked like dweebs this whole past year.
Yep.
Like Barrett has zero credibility. All of Rusev's credibility just disappeared in the summer, and then Del Rio has just died a death since he's come back. So
Rusev is much more interesting by himself. When the League of Nations thing, he's just a guy. Like his thing with Lana right now, I'm actually kind of interested in. To kind of start seeing the old Lana come back or whatever, but like the stuff, whenever they do the stuff with the League of Nations, it's dumb. And, like I think it's much more interesting when like New Day trolls and says stuff about the League of Nations than when the League of Nations actually come out and does stuff. Just,
I mean, it feels slapped together because it is slapped together because they've been put in a position based on what they've done and injuries that this is where we're at, and it's very, very sad.
I mean, at least it gets Sheamus like boos, which is better than getting him nothing. But when he's still going around,
it adds a little bit more credibility. Not much, but it adds a little bit more credibility to Sheamus. So I do like it in that sense, but it's still, it's so bad.
Right, it's bad, but I mean, the whole point here is to get Sheamus to a point where you're actually sort of wanting to like hate him. And if you don't care about him at all, it's much worse than at least like, well, he looks stupid and his faction is really, really annoying, so boo. Just I don't know, but I just see this thing like going a while. And to me, honestly, I can't really hate on it because I just want them to go with something and just stick with it. Like, be consistent. If you're going to do it, then just do it. But please don't, like, insult us with terrible jokes and promos that last forever. And, like, why did that talking segment at the beginning, like, the talking segment at the beginning, which turned into the Attitude Era Classic cluster F of everybody's gonna come out here, and it actually had a cool moment where Wyatt just comes out totally out of nowhere, and he's not feuding with them, he's feuding with the guys that come on after them, to be like, hey, if you're talking about factions, we've been kind of dominant around here, you need to pay attention to us. and like, even though it's laughable that they've been dominant, at least you can take them more seriously than the League of Nations because they're scary dudes, right? And then it all unravels into whatever. But I kind of didn't mind the opening part with the 16-man whatever. Just it's the wrong pay-per-view. Like, why are we booking stuff from a month ago? Like, shouldn't that have been something on Survivor Series?
It's kind of curious that they created 4 versus 4 kind of feud the month after Survivor Series. Brilliant booking, Vince McMahon. Just bravo.
Maybe you just wanted to make Teddy Long happy, guys. Come on now.
Yeah.
Tag team match.
He needs to come out and be like, holla, holla, ho.
Yeah.
Actually, I would have given Raw a 10 out of 10 if he would have came out in the beginning. I was like, well, Raw's a 10.
Yeah. He's like, oh, man, players, you know what's going to happen right now. A 16-man tag match.
Oh, man. Well, guys, I got to get going, but you guys have a good show. And also, that Miz TV segment, god-awful, completely. I don't even know who's the heel and the face in the story anymore.
I don't even think WWE knows, buddy.
Yeah. Anything to plug, Chris, before you get out of here?
I got no plugs, but I will let you know if I end up going to that show or not. But it's looking like 99% not.
Okay, yeah, let us know for sure, man. But thanks for calling in, bro.
No problem. You guys have a good night.
There, that's Chris Limsky, the fourth co-host of our show. But all right, Sean, let's get through the rest of this Raw.
All right, well, let's talk about some nice things. New Day comes out and after the Team Bad thing, which honestly, like, to me, Team Bad seems like they're trying to do we're a little bit more comedic Shield, sort of, where you have Tamina kind of doing the Reigns thing, and then you got the other two, and I'm totally kind of down with that. I kind of dig Team Bad right now. Like, I know we were kind of all over the team thing, but they're giving Sasha wins, and they're making the team seem sort of like, even though it's not about, I mean, they're forcibly putting whatever's left of Team Bella out there, which is total, like, no one cares about them without Nikki. Who ever thought we'd be saying that, really?
So true.
But, you know, I seriously, like, I like the fact that they're kind of come up with stuff, and they're letting them just go out there, and, you know, I don't know if the Unity thing's going to get over with everybody, but I could see it being a thing, and then you have New Day come out there, and you finally get to see a little bit of what we've seen them do on Twitter and other places where they're kind of in a little group all together. It makes it fun. It's, you know, what Ryback says later, where he just goes out there and freaking does a crossbody over the ropes, and he's like, I'm just having fun, guys. Like, Raw should be about that, right?
I certainly think so. Wrestling can certainly be taken seriously, but it's also like we're talking about something that's insanely ridiculous. And for God's, the New Day comes out with unicorn horns, and we just eat that up with a spoon, you know. So, and they certainly do that. They come out and dance with Team Bad at the end, and it's probably the best 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun and everything like that. You know, the only thing I was aggravated was that, you know, we didn't think of Unity. I just would love to come on this show and all of us go, Unity!
Yeah, I did it last week. But yeah.
Man, we should have done it. I mean, we should have came up with that. But, you know, that's okay. Maybe we'll come up with brutality when we talk about the main event and all that. So, but, you know, I think this is fun. It's good stuff.
And Sasha keeps winning. So, you know, that's kind of setting her up for an eventual Divas title match kind of waiting in the wings. And that's good. They're kind of doing a slow build with that. They're not just forcing her into there, I thought. So.
And I also want to say Tamina is more interesting in this kind of role, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, because she's the straight person. She's, you know, and it totally works for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we go from that note to, even though I don't care, man, it's so hard. Like, I feel sad saying this, but I don't care about Dolph. I just don't care about Dolph. And he had a tremendous match with Kevin Owens, but I just don't care because I know what's going to happen. You know? And,
They gave you no reason to care about Dolph Ziggler. He's in a going nowhere feud with Tyler Breeze that should have ended a while ago, and for some reason it's still a thing because they're still wrestling on SmackDown. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Well, I get it. Randy Orton's hurt and Sheamus is busy. So they've got to find two guys that are going to work together.
Busy with his other eternal partner over there.
So they've got to find two guys who can work together for 6 months straight. Never, you know, just the standard Raw match, you know.
I just don't get why. I mean, I get it. Like, Owens, you know, I would much rather prefer, like, you know, okay, the Intercontinental title is supposed to be your workhorse title, and if that's what they're trying to do with it, then that's fine. Especially with, you know, Del Rio having the U.S. title, and he's certainly not doing that. You know, go out there and have these matches where Owens is, but Owens is, he should be, honestly at this point, like, he should be just dominating a guy like Ziggler, or have him go out there against somebody that he's just going to beat down in about 2 or 3 minutes, and that'd be it, you know. And then Dean Ambrose can still come out there and do his deal, and I mean, that's Dean, and I don't know. That didn't bother me so much because it's funny, and it's kind of like Dean being like, look, I still feel like no matter what you say, I'm going to come take your title in Dean's way, but I know there's probably people that thought that was too goofy. I mean, I don't know. What did you guys think of the thing, like Dean just coming in there with the popcorn and the soda and just throwing it in his face?
I thought it was funny personally. Like Dean can do just some random things, and I'll buy into it just because he's got that. We've seen him do random things and make it work. I mean, we're also talking about the same guy who's locked to a TV screen, so I guess what I was saying still fits. So I don't know.
It's just standard for Dolph now. This isn't the first time he's come down with a soda and popcorn. I mean, so
That's
I don't
true,
know.
yeah.
I mean, it's to me, it's okay. I mean, it's kind of cool in a way, and in a way, it's kind of silly. But the thing that I got that bothered me more than anything was Kevin Owens just had said, play my music. They're not supposed to be playing yours. Play mine. And I'm like, really? That's what you're worried about is your music? I would be more concerned.
He is into himself. That's the whole point, Gary.
I know, but to me, it's still a little silly. I want him to be so into himself. He's pissed that he's in the same ring as him. Why did you come here? I've won my match. You don't need to be here. That kind of thing.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. I want my music to play because I won my match, and I want to hear my music. I don't want to be dealing with you and hearing your crap right now. Like,
I guess so. I don't know. That would hit me wrong when I watched it, I guess. But overall, I do want to say this about Dolph real quickly. I watched the Raw Fallout, and he had a little thing going, and it was kind of interesting because everything he was saying on there was based on he'd been there forever. He put all his effort into this business and for WWE for as many years as he's been there and all that. And of course, you're going to have the Tyler Breeze show up and all that. But my point being is it's almost funny that it's almost like they're either just working the crowd or he really feels this way and he's just getting a chance to say it. I don't know. It's very weird, though. So
that's fair.
I agree. It's just we've seen him do that before.
Mm-hmm.
And it meant nothing.
Yeah. So. It sucks. I want him to do much more.
I agree with you. I think we all can agree that we'd love to see Dolph matter and people care about him again, but it's just man, they just really drove him down when you need people, instead of building them up, you're still doing the same thing. Hopefully they do something, to change it, whether it's whatever that change is going to be for SmackDown that makes Raw and SmackDown better, whatever it is that they're going to do. I just hope something flicks on in their heads. I mean, well, speaking of, it looks like they finally might have realized that this thing with Zev Coulter and Alberto Del Rio was terrible. And Alberto Del Rio got to show the one thing that we've all said he's been lacking, and that's some fire. Do you think that this leads to anything for Del Rio as far as making him more interesting? Or do you think this is just a ploy to get Zeb back with Jack?
I'm assuming it's a ploy to get him back with Jack. Ultimately, Del Rio's run right now has hinged on his ability to look like he cares, which I can say he's done for one evening, and that's when he won the belt. Other than that, he has looked totally disinterested in everything else that he's been doing.
He looks like he is, other than when he showed fire there yelling at Zeb and kind of being back to his old self or whatever, he just looked like he was totally like, when you say somebody's dead inside, like you're looking at his eyes and you're like, there's just nothing there. There is nothing there with that man.
Yeah, true.
I totally agree with that. That's a great analogy. And it's a situation where I felt like that. Oh, good, we actually get a chance to see him be, what we saw in the past, energetic and just fiery, angry. But I thought after I saw that, that's probably the last we're going to see for a long time because now that he's part of the League of Nations and all that, he's not going to get much time on the mic.
Yeah, certainly. It sucks because again, this is a guy that has been decent for you. He can get reactions. I still don't know why you killed his finish. It's WWE. I don't understand. Like, to me right now, all that matters is you get guys that get reactions. And if people start saying the C thing when he gets ready for the cross arm breaker, you're having Dolph do the Shawn Michaels thing right now. I mean, what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you want people to see people getting excited about the fact that Del Rio's about to do the cross arm breaker and go, yeah, I want to see him do it. Not, oh, he's going to do the stupid double thumb thing and no one gives a crap. I just, you know. Hey, at least I will say they have made the tag team scene very entertaining. You know, New Day is always entertaining, obviously. We already kind of covered their thing. I love their theater bit with the whole... well, Kofi Kingston's going to play the part of the cat. And Big E is going to be the... I forgot what Big E's supposed to be. And Xavier Woods like, we don't need tables because we are... Or we don't need whatever. We don't need ladders because we are grown men. And then the Usos on comments are like, these are grown men that are walking around with unicorn horns on. Like, totally contradicting themselves there. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a thing between the three of them, and it all makes sense. And New Day's being we don't want to defend our titles, but we're going to make you anyway, and it makes sense, you know.
I mean, I completely agree with you, man. The tag division, both here and in NXT, just running on all cylinders right now. And I mean, I guess we're just got to enjoy the ride while it lasts, because we've seen in the last couple of years they can't seem to keep the momentum going. But when you have an act like the New Day, who's probably your hottest act right now, you know, it's hard to see it faltering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's going okay. It's doing, you know, what it's supposed to do, and that's entertain people. You know, the one thing I've always been worried about is just being overexposed, you know, using them for everything. They got to be special. You got to use it for the special comedy moments or, you know, even just matches. But I think they're great for what they're worth right now.
Well, speaking of great for what they're... do you like this whole thing with Ryback and Rusev where Lana's kind of trying to sort of ease back into being the old Lana, and she's kind of using Ryback as a way to like trick him, and it makes him look dumb, obviously, but it makes you feel sympathy for Ryback in a way. Like, do you like this? This got added to TLC as well. I mean, do you like where this is going, or do you just see this as we needed to fill something for TLC, so this is not going to go past that? Or
it feels like filler, and it also feels like it's very forced.
Right, yeah.
And that's my biggest problem with it. You've revealed already that Lana and Rusev are still a thing in real life. I don't know if we needed anything story-wise or anything on the show to tell us, hey, this is about to be a thing again. Like, I don't know if I needed a feud to get there. You could have just...
Why can't she just want to be supporting her man, and, like, just... If she does the crush thing, it's because she wants him to win his matches. I mean, you know?
Right.
Whatever.
All this, you could have easily remedied in a segment, and I would have been perfectly okay with it. And I think a lot of other people would have been too, because like I said, they've already shown, hey, these guys are getting married.
Right,
so.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a... Larry compares Stardust and Titus O'Neil to a poor man's Booker T and Goldust. Do you see this is what's happening with these two? Or... I mean, when he said that, I didn't think about it for a while, and then I was like, you know, this might be what they're doing.
Maybe? I don't know. Like, it seems like we're trying to get Stardust on the road back to being Cody slowly but surely. And I guess if they're going to go the poor man's Booker T and Goldust pairing, then whatever, you know. But I mean, Titus O'Neil's funny. We know Stardust or Cody Rhodes can make anything work. So if they want to go that route, why not?
I mean, it's funny. It makes me laugh. Like, what do you want, Titus? Like, oh, nothing. You need to get you some, Cody. You need to get you some.
Yeah. I love that. See, I was tempted so much to put that in the intro, but I said I already used him a little bit last time, not this time.
Oh man, he's just great. Like, and the fact that he was he was getting mad at Jack because he was like really hurting him or whatever. Like, man, this is gonna be like, WWE loves these things, and somehow they always seem to when you get like the odd couples together. They wind up working, so I don't have a problem with it. Like, Stardust isn't doing anything, and Titus isn't doing anything. I mean, Darren's apparently going through a crisis with his health or whatever it is, and why not?
Pictures at a hospital.
Yeah,
it's creepy.
So, yeah, saying this might be it. Shouldn't do that on Twitter, but
yeah,
whatever. Trying to get himself attention, I guess.
Yeah, probably so. But for what it's worth, I think you guys are right. This would be a fun pairing, and I hope they do get to to do some good things together because they both are worth it.
True. I mean, so what is your stance on this thing with the Wyatts and the Dudleys and the now Bubba Ray had some fun on Twitter playing around and had verses of Metallica making you think it's Sandman. I think he did something else to make you think it was somebody else. And it winds up being Rhino, who we've seen plenty on NXT, but obviously people in the live crowd may not watch NXT. I was asked a question on Fact or Fiction about whether or not it should have been used to bring up NXT talent instead. And honestly, for me, like, this is kind of the Wyatt's MO.
Mm-hmm.
If you take out Dean Ambrose, and pretty much all of their other feuds had to involve Dean Ambrose too with the Shield, everybody else that Wyatt has fought is an old person. Or a part of WWE's, like, what you really consider their old guard at this point. So, why have him waste a bunch of NXT people for a while just for them to get a meaningless win over a team that keeps losing and losing and losing, when you can just have them maybe finally win against a bunch of old dudes? Or not. Whatever. I just don't see who you're going to bring up anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, what?
That would be my feeling. I don't know if there's anybody that fits the mold. And Rhino's fine. I mean, ultimately, this is just something, hopefully, to set the Wyatt family back on the right track. Because I think this tag team tables elimination match at TLC is going to be something that surprises us with how good it is. And maybe that's just me being really hopeful, but I feel like these 8 guys could really do something special. Much like I feel like a lot of these other matches on the show could. But at any rate, they're certainly going to give you something to watch at TLC, and I think that's the bonus here, even if a lot of these matches that we're getting, a lot of them don't have terrific builds around them. So,
did you like the Miz TV with this? The last thing, I guess, that we haven't talked about. Did you like the Miz TV?
No.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't like I was telling Chris.
God,
I don't.
She is so bad with promos.
I don't even think WWE knows who's the heel anymore. I don't think they care.
No, I think they're almost doing a double turn, like right in front of you, and they don't care. It's just like they realize. Oh, maybe Flair got into somebody's face and said, "Look, my daughter needs to be a heel, or she needs to be a tweener, or whatever the hell," and they go, "You know what, Rick? Damn it, let's just do it." And, like, well, I mean, Paige gets all these reactions from people anyway. Like, let's just, I don't know. Like, honestly, I mean, like, look, this has basically always been Charlotte's role as it is. This, like, I'm a face one day, I'm a heel the other day, depending on who I'm facing. Which I don't mind. And I don't mind. They're just, I don't know. I feel like we've talked this to death about the whole Flair stuff, and I don't know. Her delivery on a promo is just so boring. It's just, other than the fact that I thought she might actually kick Miz's ass there, but, you know, I don't know what to say. I'm kind of at a loss for words with this.
If they're going for a double turn, Charlotte is a better heel and Paige is better as a face, in my opinion. So I think that's fine.
I thought Paige was doing so good as a heel, though.
I completely agree with you. But apparently we can't seem to keep whoever is face and heel straight anyways on a Divas roster. So.
Oh, God, yeah, no, because the Bellas can't possibly you can't just make it to where we don't have Brie do the Daniel Bryan thing so she can be hated, so that, you know, the fans actually kind of sort of taking to the team bad, so why not just go with that?
I mean, we've seen the Bellas turn face and heel on the same show back and forth, so I don't know, maybe we should just stop being surprised by this. But
bitches be crazy, y'all.
Yeah.
That's, you know, Kevin Dunn at work. Gary, I mean...
I'm right there with you guys. It's hard for me to add anything because I'm just as dumbfounded by this as you. To me, that gray area I talked about last week, it's just ever present, and it doesn't do anybody any good because we don't know who to cheer for and who to hate, and I don't know. There's not much to really say. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand what Miz was getting at with some of the questions either. Are you trying to get her to hate Paige? Are you trying to get her to hate Becky? Are you and then the way he did the whole, Paige is here now. Are we trying to get the people to be all excited because she just ran down Paige for a while and then, oh, hey, Paige is here to defend herself. Oh, okay. I don't know, man. It just, whatever. Hopefully the match is good. That's all I gotta say. I think that's the whole. When I got done with this Raw, my whole point was, this TLC better be like a lot of these WWE pay-per-views this year, where it overperforms the terrible build. Because if not, oh boy.
I was gonna say, hopefully the wrestling is good could be the tagline for TLC this year. Because it ain't the build that's carrying any interest here.
It could be the deal for almost a lot of their pay-per-views, really. I hope the wrestling is good.
Yeah.
What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to do the rating for Raw. So is it as bad? Is it the dumpster fire that last week's was, or was it maybe a little better this week?
I think it's a modicum better, which I think gets it the Bret Hart special, 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm right there with Paul on that. 4 out of 10 is right where I'm staying.
Do we make it the trifecta here and just say yes, maybe? What did we said 2s and 3s last week or something? What was it?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you take out the ending segment. I think you take out anything with the League of Nations, probably. You have a pretty decent show. And you take out the Miz TV segment, obviously that wasn't very terrific. And then you're left with a whole lot of mediocre to really fun moments.
Yeah. So there you go. There is Monday Night Raw.
All right, guys. Well, that leads us to do some TLC talk. We're going to give you our predictions right after this.
Sorry. Okay, there you go.
All right, guys. Well, it is time for us to talk some TLC, and let's go ahead and just start with this thing. Ryback versus Rusev in a singles match. Lana's going to be by the side. Is that going to mess anything up for Ryback, or who's going to go over here?
Much like when the opposing team at a Dallas Stars game scores, who cares? Ryback, I guess. I don't know.
He's your boy. Come on.
He is my boy. So okay, that's all the reason I need Ryback.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ryback. This is kind of seems to be built for him to be winning, or based on what's happened.
Yes, he's like Charlie Sheen. Winning! Yeah, I'm going with Ryback. No, well, I take that back. That's great. I'll go Rusev. I think Lana and him together, it's probably not going to happen, but why not? I'll just have some fun with it. Let's go to Alberto Del Rio, the U.S. champion, versus Jack Swagger. And now this is, of course, a chairs match. What do you think? Who's going to win this one?
Oh, God. Del Rio to retain, Swagger to get Coulter back. If that's somewhere along the lines of a win, I don't know.
Would they really have Del Rio win it and then just have him lose it that quick already? I mean,
to Swagger of all people. I mean, this either goes on another month or
I just
the WWE here.
I'll say Del Rio retains somehow, and this goes on.
Yeah, I think Del Rio retains here. I think he focuses on trying to break Jack Swagger's ankle or something with a chair. But yeah, Zeb Coulter will be a part of it. I don't know what's going to happen with him. Let's move on to the 8-man tag team elimination match here with the Wyatt family facing off against Team ECW. I mean, this could be pretty fun. This is a tables match, of course. You know, the Dudleys are involved, right? So, I mean, you've got to have... Is it a tables match? Am I wrong on that?
It's a tables match.
I thought so. Okay, making sure. I was just a little bit worried. But yeah, so what are your thoughts?
Yeah, table match, elimination rules. So the last team standing pretty much wins. I think this could be really, really good. And could really surprise a lot of people out there who may be underestimating this. But the Wyatt family should go over here, and I'm going to pick them to do so. Just simply because the Dudley Boys and Dreamer and Rhino have nothing to gain by going over.
Yeah, this seems like we're finally, if anything, maybe it's not to build Wyatt, if it's just to build Braun Strowman. It serves some kind of purpose, I guess. This is also why I don't think you can bring up NXT people, because if you do, they're losing in their first match, and it doesn't make sense. Just, you can bring in some old ECW guys, you can have them take the pins or whatever, and there you go. Or the eliminations, and they can have some fun tossing around some old hardcore guys.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be pretty fun to watch myself. And I'm going to go with the Wyatts. I really feel like, hey, it's their turn for every reason you guys said. So not much left to say about it, really. Let's move on to the Divas Tag Team title now. It'll, of course, be defended by Charlotte, and Paige will be trying to win it. Now, this is the one that probably should be a stairs match, but it's not. So here you go. Who's going to win? Just got to have that in there.
Just got to have a stairs match, don't you, Gary?
Just got to.
I'm going to pick Charlotte to retain. I don't see a reason for them to move it, even if they can't figure out who's what on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I think there's going to be something happening eventually. This is leading to eventual, like, Sasha and Charlotte, or maybe this. Is this still the three-way, or did they change it back to only being Charlotte and Paige?
I just got Charlotte and Paige here in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's what I got too.
I could have swore at one point there was a picture of the three of them somewhere, but I'm gonna say Charlotte too, because I think this is eventually leading to a Sasha and Charlotte match, maybe at WrestleMania or something.
Oh God! If it's at Mania, I might die. I might die.
Oh boy! So we'll see. That's no promise, Paul. So don't freak out too much. So let's move on to the next match. And, of course, this is going to be one that'll be a lot of fun to watch, of course, because that's a triple threat tag team ladder match. Of course, you've got the New Day, and they're going to face off against the Usos. Of course, everybody loves the Usos, right? And, of course, the Lucha Dragons are also involved in this. So this will be very interesting. But who comes out on top? Does the New Day retain or not?
Once again, I don't see a reason for the New Day to lose it here. But if there was ever a time for him to do so, it'd be here. And I would assume it would be the Usos who would take the titles off of them. That being said, this should still be really, really amazing. The Lucha Dragons, especially Kalisto, probably has something insane up his sleeve to make us all just lose our minds over how insane he's probably going to be in this match. Either way, I'm picking New Day.
Yeah, I think the whole point of this is that you're going to try to. I think the only way you can really establish some kind of strength in the division is that you need to have New Day keep holding them. The fans really love them at this point. Just keep letting them have it until you really have a team that you feel like needs to take it off of them or whatever. I mean, I think the Usos and Lucha Dragons can chase them for a little bit here. In WrestleMania, all it's going to be anyway is a multiple person tag thing anyway. Mm-hmm. So who does it matter really who's holding the belts? Because when you get to that point, that's when you can have, okay, there's like 8 teams in here. If the New Day loses, no big deal. I think this kind of allows New Day to kind of take their characters a little bit more somewhere else, and it could be interesting. They're like, oh, we conquered our fear of ladders, or whatever it is. Nobody can beat us now. Thanks.
Oh, you gotta love it. Unicorn power.
The power of the horn, yeah.
I think I'm right there with you guys on this. I think New Day retains. It's not imperative that the Usos win, nor the Lucha Dragons. Kind of the same way I feel about Charlotte. It should happen that way. Could be completely wrong, but I think we kind of have something here. So let's move on to the next match. And, of course, this involves the Intercontinental title with Kevin Owens facing off against Dean Ambrose. So this will be kind of a fun singles match to watch, and I'm just kind of curious what you guys think is going to happen here. Is Dean Ambrose going to get the IC title or not?
I don't know if a title change is going to happen. I can say with probably 100% certainty this will be match of the night. No matter whatever crazy spots are happening everywhere else, this has got Wrestling Classic written on it. I'm going to go Kevin Owens to retain. But this is the one I'm really shaky on.
I think maybe I'm going to dream a little bit here. But honestly, Sami Zayn doesn't need to be in NXT very long. And we never got the end of Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Why not do Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the IC title at WrestleMania? Ooh,
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
And who the heck is gonna face Owens anyway for the belt? I mean, who's out there that he really needs to use it? Who lose it to? Nobody.
Yeah. Besides Nia Jax, no one else.
Yeah. Besides Nia Jax, then or even Marie can come up there and try to win it. Then
Mother of God.
Somebody
else pick and move on.
WrestleMania ticket effective immediately.
Hey, she may not be in London, so we might be all saved. But yeah, no. I think Owens wins.
Yeah. After watching Carmella, I never want to see Eva Marie again. After watching that Breaking Ground.
Oh yeah, no man.
My God. Anyway, sorry. I had to throw that in there. Let's talk about the main event here. I think Kevin Owens is going to win.
Not.
Yeah, I know.
It might be good. It might be. What am I saying? It might be good.
So Sheamus is a champion, of course, and he beat Roman Reigns in 5 minutes and 15 seconds the last time. Can he do it quicker this time? I don't know. He does hold an 18 seconds record with Daniel Bryan. So who knows? But this will be a TLC match straight up. So all the fun games will be involved. All the fun toys. Who's going to win?
I think these two can have a really solid match. Whether the rest of us are going to care about it, I don't know. But I think they have a really solid match. I'm also probably about 90% sure this is going to be overbooked to hell. Sheamus wins, though.
Yeah, Paul pretty much hit the nail on the head there. I'm going to go with Sheamus too. They're going to get everybody from League of Nations involved. It's going to be anything but short of, we're going to turn this into a tag match at the main event of the pay-per-view, and Reigns going to lose. Because why do you even do that finish at Survivor Series if you're going to have it end in 1 month? Because you talk about totally killing Sheamus, you're going to kill him. You might as well let him go from WWE if you have him lose the belt already.
Yeah,
no one will care about him ever again. No one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right there with you, Sean. And not only that, and the title belt been around his waist for this sort of a time. I mean, it only makes sense for him to continue on as the champion. So Roman Reigns will have his time, and that'll be at WrestleMania. Well, let's go ahead and get it. We're going to move on, but I will say this one last thing. This main event makes me wish that I was a billionaire. And the reason I say that is because I would love to be at this show and just when Sheamus holds up the belt and he's victorious, I could drop tater tots out of the ceiling, kind of like Donald Trump dropped millions of dollars.
Oh, boy.
Just imagine little children opening their mouths with tater tots and like, yay. Yeah, it'd be beautiful.
It'd be a great spot for Sonic to sponsor him for.
Yeah,
yes.
The Sonic tater shower.
Yeah. And then Damian Sandow could be in the Sonic uniform. He's like, I'm a few months away from working here legitimately. But anyway.
Book it, WWE. Book it.
Yep. He comes out just delivering slushies to everyone.
Yes, this is where I've been. So anyway. I would mark out if he came to my Sonic. So anyway, we are going to move on. We have a lot more stuff to talk about. We're going to jump into some NXT, and don't forget, we got Ring of Honor and TNA coming up. But right now, we're going to go to NXT Developmental and join Fool's Tale.
Ay, Dios mío. Wait. Okay.
WWE Developmental NXT.
All right, NXT. This week, of course, this was the go home to Takeover London, which will take place next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon. Yes, you heard that right. 3 p.m. Eastern in the afternoon if you live in the United States. If you live anywhere else, check your local time zones. I know in England it's about 8 o'clock. So, hey, good for them. They finally get the normal hour that we get. So, that's cool, at least. Anyway, let's start with this thing, which, talking about cool, this was probably the coolest thing I've seen in a long while, and not because, Enzo and Colin Cassidy are cool automatically. It's just, when have we ever seen these guys be so dead serious? And it works so well because of the guys that they're facing. Those guys are all about being serious, wanting to take you out, and Enzo addresses all of that in his promo. They don't come out joking around. They just take, Hollis and Skyler to task, and they just rip the guys a new one. And I'm all for it. Now, do they need to do it all the time? No, because then it loses Lister. But for what's going on here, perfection could not have been done better.
Completely agree with you. they're sending the nail home. They know it's serious business. They've had Colin almost have his leg injured. They've had Enzo get beat up. It's serious business time, and Dash and Dawson certainly have warranted the threat. So I think this is smart booking all the way around.
I'm totally cool with it. I just, as long as Kaz can keep his mental state, man, he was shaking pretty heavily during that promo.
He must have some kind of like anxiety or something really bad. Like I don't think the stutter thing is part of his gimmick. I think he does that when he gets nervous.
Yeah.
Billy Gunn used to do that too. So, but yeah, speaking of, so we keep on going with the greatness here, one after the other, as Dana and Emma get going. Emma kind of just, Dana does her thing, but Emma's all about being serious, and Emma also is just like, hey, you know what, Paige, she doesn't mention Paige, but Paige always talks about how she's the one who started Divas Revolution. If you really think about it, the first diva we really ever saw that was like a total standout like that, aside from Paige, was Emma, and I don't think Emma really gets a whole lot of credit for that, and Emma was making a point about that. She's like, look, there would be no Divas Revolution without the Evolution, and she's right about that, So, she went on with all this being angry, and then you get basically Asuka killing. That's what she does. And absolutely just murdering Deonna Purrazzo with a kick, where you thought they were going to, for the first time ever, make her look stupid. Nope. They couldn't even again, they just outdid themselves in the last segment. Just knockout kick right there. It wasn't a total, it was a roundhouse that maybe you can make the case that maybe it doesn't, whatever, but still awesome because it's Asuka and you can believe it.
Yeah, that kick that she did to Dana at the last Takeover special sold the kick enough, and this just sends it home. She will kill you dead with that kick. That is what happens, and it totally works. Totally works. And if it's even more possible, Asuka and Emma has me even more hyped than ever. So it should be an amazing match.
It should be fun, and I'll just say this: I was so glad that Titus O'Neil was in the outside in the audience to jump up and say, "Hey, watch out, Asuka!" Know what she can. I kid.
Oh God!
No,
yeah.
Could you imagine? But anyway, no. Legitimately, this is going to be great. I think this is a good build, and they're doing a good job with it.
Well, speaking of build, did you guys like the little build that they had for the Blake and Murphy against the Hype Bros tag match? I thought they both kind of went out there and cut some decent promos before the match. Hype Bros do their thing. Mojo went on a little bit too long. You gotta kind of reel that in, Mojo. I think the hype gets the better of you there. But man, Blake, bro, I don't know what to tell you, but that cut off Freddy Krueger thing, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder
good.
about Blake.
I'm pretty sure Blake and Murphy walk into a closet and just spin around a couple times, and whatever they come out in is what they're wearing for the week. Because
it's cool with Alexa's she had the glove thing. So, oh my God, this cat over here is just dying. Sorry.
It's whatever. It's just that they've worn some of the weirdest things in the last month. And I just don't know what to do with them anymore.
Was this taped in Halloween or something like that? Why were they doing the Freddy Krueger thing? Honestly, any special? They said something about holiday during the NXT show. Commentators did. So I thought they filmed this during Halloween. I don't know.
Maybe they've created their own holiday where they walk into a closet and just put on the weirdest stuff they have. And go, this is what we're wearing.
Sounds like every day for me.
It's different, at least. It makes them stand out, you know.
Well, I enjoy it because I'm a horror movie fan, so I'm down with it. You know,
I'm just saying, Blake, like, bro, man, with your like tank tops, just.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know, man. What are you trying to tell us? Like, what are you trying to tell people here? I mean, hey, you know, whichever. If that's how you roll, that's cool, man. Just.
The gay duo.
I would not be surprised at all if that winds up being something. Especially, you know, if they ever get the main roster. Vince looks at him and goes, "Why the hell does he wear that?" "Oh, I know. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make him gay." Like, just.
Remember Chuck and Billy? That went over real well.
Well, except this time they won't get a GLAAD award. The people will know it's coming, I'd hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the match was good. I thought I enjoyed the match. These guys know how to do the tag team thing. Again, Zack Ryder looks like he is so excited to actually be there and have a crowd care about him, and you know what, win. He actually wins matches. That's also good, you know. So
I
yeah.
completely agree with you. The tag match, nothing spectacular, but rock solid. I still enjoy the bejesus out of the Hype Bros, and you know, I'll look forward to next week to see what Blake and Murphy are wearing, because Lord knows they don't even know what they're going to wear.
Especially since, you know, Blake and Murphy are the ones to go take a crap in the club, you know.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing. That was a big deal.
Those kind of guys, right?
Yeah. I mean, I personally, you know, have you ever been to a club? I wouldn't want to go to the bathroom in the club. I mean, most of them are very nasty, so.
Not good aim when it comes to drinking alcohol and going to the bathroom.
Yeah,
so.
Certainly. It's either that or going to a stadium sometimes. But hey, talking about on point, I thought this was one of Baron Corbin's better promos here. Him and Joe, I thought, worked well together with this. I mean, I'm not trying to overrate it here, but I really think that Triple H was right about like what he said in his conference. I think Baron Corbin, we kind of underrated him a bit. I think he's improved a hell of a lot, and this whole I hate you because of where you come from thing works with him, you know.
I mean, I completely agree. Baron Corbin continues, I think, to grow, even if it is at a slower pace. Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, I think, have a pretty okay reason to feud. I mean, it's good enough for NXT crowd to go, yeah, just to get him to the match. But it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm enjoying Baron Corbin for what he is. You know, and he is doing better, a little bit better on the mic, but he's still got a ways to go.
Absolutely.
For me personally. I mean, he has improved, yes, and you got to give him credit for that improvement, but I think he's still got, and I think he could do it. I just think that, I'll say it this way, I think he needs to take it to a different level of seriousness. I'm not sold that the guy really feels like he's
Gary,
doing that.
you're kind of going like in and out or something. I don't know what it is, like it goes like into like this robotic thing. All of a sudden.
Sorry, my connection probably is a little rough. Can you hear me now?
That might be it. Yeah.
Am I good now?
Yes, you're good now, yes.
Okay, so anyway, enough said. I was just saying, I think Baron Corbin, if he takes it a little bit more serious on the mic, he'll be a really good guy to watch. So.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys? I thought that was fun. That whole "Hey, we want some Mojo" thing, like, really works for that because Mojo just sells it like he's going absolutely nuts because of the fact that
I want that GIF. I want a GIF of that.
Yeah, that would be great. Like, somebody needs to find that, honestly. And then, of course, Bayley gets it in her match with Peyton Royce. Then Peyton Royce gets better than Eva chants. That's not hard. Man, these guys just come up with...
This is the best. This is just the
best. Man. Whew. I mean, Harry and I were having arguments about, he's like, oh, Eva has all this potential. I'm like, man, I don't know. You must have thought Great Khali had some potential too.
Yeah. Those knees will bend one day, I promise.
Look, now, granted, I think she can be the next Vicky if they wanted to do that. Because she gets nuclear heat just for being Eva. Mm-hmm. But she don't need to wrestle.
Yeah, she needs to honestly manage Roman Reigns. I mean, he would be the most hated guy in the world.
Yeah. I mean, her sort of pseudo managing Nia Jax kind of works. I did like the fact that Nia Jax was kind of like, "Hey, I don't need you to talk for me," but that's fine. I mean, I thought the match was what it was. I mean, wasn't anything spectacular. I like the stuff at the end with Nia Jax, kind of just previewing that a little bit, and then it's simple and effective, and then you get the main event, which didn't last very long, but it was fun. They went out there, had some good stuff, and then you get Joe doing his thing, making him look like a beast, so.
Yeah, very simple women's little match there with Bayley and Peyton Royce. Peyton got to show a lot of offense, which I appreciated, because once you run through Nia Jax with Bayley, you're not going to have a whole ton left in the ways of heels, so you got to start building those gals up as fast as you can. The main event was good. I enjoyed it. More solid build towards TakeOver, and gosh, I mean, it just can't get here fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what this is meant to do, and it did a good job of, getting us ready for that pay-per-view, or not pay-per-view, whatever, TakeOver. But, I'll say this. I mean, it was funny because someone was asking me about this match and everything involved, and I said, really, honestly, this is just meant for really that one feud, if you ask me personally. Yeah, sure, Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin matter, but, I mean, to me, I just gathered that really what we're trying to focus on here is Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
As you should be, though. That's your main title. It's in Europe or it's in the UK where both Joe and especially Finn are going to be off the charts over with them over there. So, you should be focusing on that.
So, all right. Well, that is NXT. So now we're going to move on and we are going to jump into some Ring of Honor.
For those wondering, we're doing the TakeOver preview on Sunday, along with the ROH Final Battle preview on Sunday after we do the TLC. So, if you're wondering why we're not talking about TakeOver right now, that's why.
So just make sure you tune in Sunday night when we do the TLC review, and you won't miss it. So, all right, well, let's talk some Ring of Honor. All right, Paul.
All right. So Ring of Honor comes at us this week with Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser taking on Red Dragon. This is a oddly good tag team match. And I say that because the Beer City Bruiser doesn't really bring a whole lot to the table, in my opinion. But gosh, did these guys work together very well. Adam Cole comes out mid-match to jump on commentary. Him and Kyle O'Reilly obviously having a big match of Final Battle. Kevin Kelly also announces during this match that Dalton Castle and Silas Young will be having yet another match of Final Battle. It sort of all breaks down. Silas Young ends up hitting Misery. It gets distracted, and the match goes on for a little bit longer before Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young finally put Red Dragon away. It ends in what is it? DQ, something like that. Anyways, it's a mess. It breaks down, but it's a really fun match.
Gary?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun match as well. And, I think personally, they've been starting out these shows lately, really fast and hot for me. Exactly, just like this. Once again, you kind of get Silas Young, and it involves the boys, and I love the Dalton Castle thing with them, having to decide, who they're going to be with. And when they choose, Silas Young, it's a big moment. It's just, it means something, and that's what I really enjoyed. But just to summarize this entire thing, it was a lot of fun to watch, very entertaining. So great way to start the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sorry, I still have no way of watching ROH right now, so.
Right on. Yeah, the move to Comet TV has been not so kind for a lot of fans out there, I'm sure. Post-match, Silas Young has the boys beat up a referee. Dalton Castle comes out, tells Silas he has something that belongs to him. He beats up the Beer City Bruiser, and the boys end up staying with Silas this go around, even though they tease sort of walking out with Dalton. That gets followed up with a promo by Chris Sabin talking about the mysterious man behind the red mask. Turns out that it's his old Motor City Machine Gun partner Alex Shelley, who is now going to team with Matt Sydal and ACH to take on the Addiction and Chris Sabin at Final Battle. Intrigue abounds, Mr. Gary.
Yeah, it is, and this is really cool. Honestly, I don't really know a lot of spoilers, and even when you talk about dirt sheets, I didn't even know this was going to happen. So this was kind of a surprise to me, but I'm thrilled about it. And I gotta say this: Chris Sabin to me is a lot better in Ring of Honor. He used to hate him in TNA. Now, honestly, his look, everything about him, Chris Sabin is tolerable.
Mm-hmm. I think he's in an environment that's much more conducive to his style and to what he brings to the table. He's not being forced to be something more than he is. Because Chris Sabin's a great wrestler, he's not so great at the talky part. And TNA really needed him to be great at the talky part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even though his character was kind of starting to get over in TNA, though, for me at least, I was kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't know.
A total dick.
Yeah, that's really, I think he's either good at being that. Well, no, he's always been good at that, because even when he first got there as the Future, he was, a total dick, and they got him over. So, the next match is Roderick Strong squashing Samson Walker for the most part. Bobby Fish comes out to hype up his match with Strong for the TV title at Final Battle. Nothing overly important or impressive, but it is what it is.
Yeah, let's just be honest. Fish is not the greatest talker, I don't know. As much as I respect the guy, I don't see a whole lot of success here, so it's not special to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Main event: Briscoes and the Young Bucks. All Night Express is out for commentary. These guys have one heck of a tag team match, as you would expect. The Young Bucks end up going over, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And then the post-match, all three teams end up brawling. They have a match at Final Battle between all three teams, with the winners becoming the number one contenders for the tag team titles. And, yeah.
It only makes sense. It really does. And, overall, this is good. I really enjoyed the main event. It wasn't anything where you're going to say, oh, man, match of the year or anything. Trust me. But it was still good. It was fun. And, it builds up to what, Paul just said, Final Battle. So, definitely a good way to end this show because it gets more, looks and gets more intrigue when it comes to that pay-per-view. So, good stuff on it.
Yeah, absolutely. This show was all about building towards Final Battle, which is next Friday, the 18th. So I'm sure a lot of us are going to be going to see Star Wars, but if you are. But if you're not and you happen to be home, I would totally advise checking this show out. It has a stacked card top to bottom, in my opinion, and certainly has the opportunity to present maybe a show of the year candidate. So,
yeah, good stuff. So, and quick question: Star Wars? So you've already bought your day one ticket, Paul?
No, I'll probably end up having to work that day. But
okay.
My birthday's on Christmas Day, and I won't have to go to work that day because the store will be closed. So I'm hoping to go then.
Awesome. Okay, I was just curious. I had to ask. So, yes, but a lot of people will be going to that Star Wars show, and I don't know. I'm still debating on because I haven't seen 1, 2, and 3. Only seen the originals. So
I don't think it's going to be necessary, buddy.
You don't need 1, 2, and 3 to. No, those are coming after the originals, so you're fine.
Okay, good. I mean, this is 30 years after the ones I watched, so I should be okay, hopefully. All right, guys. Well, let's move on and talk some TNA Impact. Hopefully, it's as interesting as Star Wars.
That's a little bit of stress there.
TNA Impact Wrestling.
Please, for God's sakes, tell me they're going to change that song.
Whoa!
Pop TV. Just please.
Yeah. They should change to the popcorn song when they get to Pop TV.
Anything is better than that. Yeah, so more of the tournament, which, it continues. It's in the, what is this now, the quarterfinals?
Mm-hmm.
So, the quarterfinals are Lashley beating Mahabali Shera, Eric Young beating Tigre Uno, Matt Hardy beating Jesse Goddard in a 17-minute match, guys. Have any of the guys that have 17-minute matches, certainly one Jesse Goddard, and Ethan Carter III beating Davey Richards, and we might be getting a Matt Hardy and EC3 match.
God. I only groan because this is the most roundabout way to get to a rematch I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
It reeks of Dixieland.
Well, she did say that Pod TV was going to be this great thing for them. So if anybody watches it, then...
Yeah. Well, the president of Pop TV talked about, TNA Impact as if it was they were getting MASH, it was like, wow. I mean, what I mean by MASH is at its prime time.
Yeah, MASH had.
I mean,
it still holds some records over Super Bowls.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying. They talk like, Impact's going to be great. And I hope it is, but, we will. It's one of those things yet to be seen. It's that potential thing we were talking about earlier. But you know what? This Impact, continue the tournament. Not bad matches, actually. These matches were very entertaining. I did not have a problem with it. Even the Eric Young match was pretty good. Because sometimes I just get kind of bored during Eric Young matches. But this one was not bad. Tigre Uno is a lot of fun to watch, and EC3 did his normal shtick. I like that, him and Davey Richards. So, overall, I think the people that won were kind of expected in a way. Although I will say, they really sold that Mahabali Shera, whatever his name, I can barely say his name, was going to win. They really sold that, and they did a great job selling that he could win.
Well, yeah, because this is when they were supposed to be going to India. So.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah, EC3 and Davey Richards certainly had the match of the show. It's also worth noting they did a little promo here with Dixie saying that the semifinals and the finals will take place on their January 5th debut on Pop TV.
So what are they going to have next week?
Let's see. We got Eddie Edwards versus Mr. Anderson versus Rockstar Spud versus Bobby Roode, and then Micah, Eli Drake, Crimson, and Jesse Goddard versus Tigre Uno, Mandrews, Manic, and DJZ. So Cluster F booking is what we're getting next week.
They might as well just go dark.
Yeah. There you go. But hopefully it is a good show next week. There are some things there you can say, hey, that may be fun. Although Mr. Anderson's not on Paul's list of people he wants to watch. So
very true.
But anyway, well, unless you guys have any other things to talk about TNA, I think we can move on. Hopefully we have better stuff to talk about. Well, we've been saying this over and over again, just to let people know we're not ignoring TNA. They don't have a lot of talking segments, and the ones they do really just kind of go with the match. So it's nothing that we're leaving out. There's not anything to it.
No, honestly, like Larry hardly covers them in his review too, so it's not like.
Yeah.
We're just going around ignoring things. It's this tournament, and it was taped a long time ago, and thankfully they redeemed themselves with, we're going to do the semifinals and the final on this, on this new show that we have, and we're going to air the whole thing pre-taped. But, when they finally get to Pop TV and their TV matters again, there'll be more attention paid to it.
Exactly. So.
Maybe not by people, the fans, but
at
least by us anyway.
Yeah, us and the 15 fans. So, all right, guys. Well, let us move on. Let us go ahead and talk about Superstar of the Week. Who did we crown? Well, we'll find that out next.
Superstar of the Week.
All right. Well, we have to crown a Superstar of the Week, and so we are going to do that, and we are also going to crown some other Superstars for the month of November. But let's go ahead and start with this week first, guys. And, you guys, I'm sure, have some interesting people on the list, but Paul, who do you have?
So, Superstar ranking for this week is Asuka at 5. Very impressive knockout victory. I think went along. Not like they needed to go a long way to put her over, but it certainly helped make her look insanely dangerous going into TakeOver. 4 I gave to the New Day for simply having magical unicorn powers. 3 is EC3 because, he's my close personal friend. Also because, he won a big match, and that matters. 2 I gave to the Briscoes and Young Bucks. Wonderful main event on Ring of Honor TV this week. And then number 1 goes to Ishii and Honma, winning that World Tag League.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with a lot of Paul's list here. I'll say Asuka at 5. Briscoes and Young Bucks at 4. I'll say New Day at 3. This is the one that I don't have a whole lot. I'm going to say Team Bad at 2 because they just keep entertaining me, and they're the best part of that Divas Revolution right now. And number 1 is Honma and Makabe for winning the Tag League. And now we get to see Honma in a huge spot at Wrestle Kingdom, which is awesome. Because I'll be happy to cheer him on.
Oh, yeah. For sure. For me, my number 5 has to go to Asuka for every reason that these guys talked about. Just, it was great to see her and that great kick. Number 4 for me is Lashley. I really thought Lashley did an excellent job. Him and my hairbrush or whatever, I don't even say his name right. But they had a great match, but Lashley won, so he gets number 4. Number 3 goes to EC3, not just because he's Paul's friend, but because I think he had an excellent match himself, and he just does great as always. Number 2 for me is the Young Bucks and the Briscoes. Just a wonderful match on Ring of Honor TV. Just loved it. And of course, number 1, Honma and Ishii. I think that they did a wonderful job as well, and they deserve it because they did win the Tag League. So they are our Superstar of the Week. There you go, everyone. Now we have to crown a Superstar of the Month. And of course, basically have a match of the month also. So we went ahead and just kind of broke this down before we got on the show. We wanted to kind of get a consensus. So I'm gonna let these guys explain kind of why we did pick these. But I'll just tell you the match of the month is Honma versus Ishii. Thought that was a wonderful match.
Never title at Power Struggle in case you want to go find it. Which don't know if that's out there on the Daily Motions or YouTube's, but of course New Japan World, that's where you will find it the easiest. But yeah.
And our superstar of the month is Honma himself. So, I mean, it's very interesting. He not only wins this week, he wins match of the month, and also, superstar of the month. So, Paul, kind of give us some thoughts about that.
About the match, right?
Well, just about him being superstar of the month, and he also got match of the month.
It's hard to really go say anybody had a better month than what Honma did. Continually playing to that underdog role so well, and watching the fans' reactions for him being some of the loudest on any New Japan show that you watch, not only last month but really across the year. Just an insane, I think, nod towards how far along he's come.
For sure. So, I mean, this is great, to have him kind of headline for our month of November. So there you go. And of course, check with us pretty soon here. It won't be long for what we do in December. So, but we're glad we got a chance to do that. But just to let you guys know, we've got a lot more in store for you guys. Well, that pretty much wraps up our show for this week. We definitely thank you for joining us. We want to make sure we throw a couple thank yous out there. Thank you for Tom joining us for the New Japan segment. That was a lot of fun. Love that guy. He's just a wealth of knowledge, and so great to talk to him. And of course, we want to thank Mr. Chris Limsky for calling in and just chatting with us and just having a great time. I always appreciate him calling for sure. Want to let everybody know right now, Sean already mentioned it earlier, that we will be doing a TLC review show following the pay-per-view. It is going to be, of course, us and Mr. Harry Broadhurst and Patrick Ketza joining us like always. It's our Wrestling Unwrapped to the Max show. And we'll be covering everything about TLC. Then afterwards, we'll probably let Harry and Patrick go on and do their thing, and we are going to be covering the preview for, of course, Takeover London, and of course that Ring of Honor show. I'm blanking on the name, or Final Battle. Final Battle. So we're going to be covering both those there. And we're going to try to see if we can get Paul in. Paul's got to work. He'll miss the TLC part, but we're going to see if he can join us for the review for those other two shows. So come check out that podcast. It's going to be a blast. If you don't get to stay up late on Sunday night, it's going to be on demand Monday morning right there for you. Also, just let everybody know we'll be having a great show next week. Looking forward to a lot of stuff. But Sean, I'm sure we have some other stuff we need to plug.
Yeah, next week on Thursday that's what we'll be doing our NXT Takeover London review. It'll just be the three of us, as Patrick has to work that night, so it won't be the full smorgasbord of people. Of course, you guys are welcome to call in and whatever you want to have thoughts at that point. We'll do whatever else, all the other shows, have our the post pay-per-view Raw after TLC, which will probably be, is that the Slammies one? Or is that, no, the Slammies is the week after, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think so.
It's the whatever Raw. I don't know what that's going to be. And yeah, I don't know. When they get to the end of December, they start just, what year was it they had that stupid Santa Claus story one that was so dumb? It's like, wow, this is Monday Night Raw right now. Okay. Whatever works for you. But yeah, I'm probably going to wind up after we get done doing because I keep forgetting to go do it. And since I don't work till 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm probably going to just go to the grocery store and get the groceries that we need to buy because we need food. And then I'm going to wind up just finally doing the damn Gaines podcast that we've been needing to do for like 2 days now. And everything keeps getting in the way, so that's going to happen tomorrow morning. At some point, we'll be talking about PlayStation Experience, the ever-evolving door that is the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and all the jazz that comes with that stuff. Lord, that thing just continues to go crazy.
But gosh, is it pretty.
Yes, it's pretty, but man, I don't care. I mean, I bought the PC port thing for PS4, so I have the full game. Bring on whatever the hell it is you're going to bring with that. I'm excited. I'm not one of those that's going to get mad because the remake's not the same thing. It's a remake for a reason. Anyway, we're doing our football show right after this here, where we'll be previewing all of Week 14, including our Cowboys hoping to stay alive, even though considering some crazy stuff could happen and during the 1 p.m. games, we could still be alive if we lose to the Packers, which is probably the most likely scenario. And with the Vikings losing on Thursday night, that's going to be even more interesting. So we'll be talking about that Thursday night game that just happened, and of course, this is kind of like a dead week for college football, so it might be a lot shorter show than normal, which is probably better for all of us at this point. So anyway, I think other than give some plugs to TW After Dark, Mr. Stephen Randall. Go check him out over there on the iTunes and the Stitcher and the wherever, and go check out our friends Harry Broadhurst and Tony Acero and all of them on the Raw Reaction over there for DeMarco Wrestling, whatever the hell network it's called. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean about it, just saying I think it's called DeMarco Wrestling, what it's called. But and yeah, I think that's it for the close personal friend deals, right?
All right.
Anybody else? Oh, and Randy's Backlog Busting Project podcast. If you like old games, go check out his podcast of Wes. It's entertaining.
Definitely. So a lot of good stuff for everybody. Go check out. Trust me, you've got a lot of stuff to listen to. You won't be bored. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys Sunday, and hoping you all have a great week. But until then, we want you to always remember, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.